everyone, Zerms is flying high here today, here with finally the next episode of Teen Area Combos. It's been about a little over a month since we last did it right here, because basically scheduling stuff for myself, everything like that. But we're back
and myself
again.
as well.
Yeah, and Jacob and too. So we're back at it again with the new episode of Team Area Combos. Tonight's guests we have our Barzhad.
What's up?
OZ War Destroyer.
How you doing, guys? Thanks for having me.
And TX7s, and TX7s is a new person on the cast right here. So if you want to talk about yourself a bit, so you everyone knows about you.
What's going on, guys? This is TX Sven, holding it down all the way from Texas. MVCI fanatic, all things Marvel, every day, all day, 24/7, 365. You already know, man. I'm holding it down with Jacob, man, War Destroyer, Don Con, the whole gang. We're all out here having some fun, playing Marvel. That's all it's about, man.
That is why, man.
That's
why,
man.
Right
He's okay.
So yeah, thank you guys for having me so much. I really appreciate it.
Of course, man.
You're welcome, man. Okay, tonight's topics right here. We're gonna go through the various three rumors now about various basically rumors for Marvel's Capcom 4 / basically updated Marvel's Capcom Infinite, depending on what you want to explain for the thing. And then we're gonna talk about the Dragon Ball Season 2 DLC rumors for new characters that are gonna come out. Then we're going to touch on Soul Calibur 6, which recently came out about 4 days ago. And then we're going to talk about the Street Fighter 5's input that they fixed right there, that they're finally actually taking notice on. That's going to be dropping tomorrow, for what I know. And then we're also probably going to talk about other bits of fighting game news too. So let's get on it right here. Basically, Marvel vs. Capcom 4. Marvel vs. Capcom 4, obviously, there's a big rumor going around nowadays that from a very well-known leaked source, Vergben, I believe I'm saying it
Vergben.
Yeah, is it Vergben?
Vergben. That basically is he is a well-known leaker in the fighting game community, and also a well-known leaker in various games in general, relating to Marvel's Capcom. I believe Banco Namco games, Arch System work games, and stuff like that. Basically, so he is pretty legit source right there. Obviously, he will get stuff wrong right there, or he's hearing wrong stuff, but he is a legit source there, so people do actually believe him. So basically, he is saying that there's going to be bunch of comments right here. There's going to be different rumors right here, which I'm going to read them all out. First comment is, no one knows anything in Zerms, so believe me. I've been asking around. All I know is that the update is real and happening. No one has any details leaked out regarding what exactly is happening or what characters will be in it yet. The characters that I and people like Matt had heard, Matt says Maximilian, which is Star-Lord, Miss Marvel, Asura from
Asura's Wrath, yeah.
Asura's Wrath, Gil, Lady, and Virgil, which basically they're not sure which one's going to be in, would be the most likely and logical conclusions to expect for. That is until something substantial does come out about it. And that's the place to start to come to expectations. Second message right here is early in development. We probably won't see any or officially have anything revealed to next year because they don't want to mess it up like that, and like they did with the advertisement for Marvel's Capcom Infinite. And
yeah,
so,
like the Chun-Li face, etc.
Face and
Story mode demo.
The presentation.
Presentation, yep.
Yeah.
Third fun one right here is, don't take it so hard. I feel like idiots when updates does finally get announced. I should probably mention when it does get announced, it will be called Marvel vs. Capcom 4. I don't know what could it mean for the game itself and it changes, but it would be a complete rebranding effort to make people forget about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite exists. The reasons are the same. They're written the same off that way. And the final one will be, after MVCI failed, Combo-Feed left Capcom and worked for Marvel as part of the games division. He was even in the credits of Sony's Spider-Man game. One of his Capcom getting another side is how bad he was, messed up. It thanks to most part to Combo-Feed creating a dialogue between Marvel and Capcom and managing to convince both sides to go through with it. So basically, from what the rumors are saying like Marvel's Capcom 4 is very early in development. Combo Fiend is the main instigator to make him have a Marvel's Capcom 4 again. DLC characters that you're expecting will be basically the ones that were rumored to be DLC characters for Season 2 of Marvel's Capcom Infinite. And basically, nothing's going to get really announced to 2019 at the earliest, from what he's saying. Those are the four major points from what he's saying.
Hmm.
So, and let's talk about this source of the rumor first, and then we will go to the other rumor for Marvel's Capcom Infinite.
Okay.
Okay, sure.
So basically, he is sounding like it's very early in development for something like that. Basically, so it started either at the end. It started probably in 2018, back since that patch came out for the game, I believe. No, the patch came out in December of last year. So it probably stopped sometime. It probably started in development probably in February or later on, or something like that.
Probably after the last MVCI patch, most likely.
That was back in January.
Yeah.
So most likely, because they went dead silent after that.
True. So basically from that rumor right there, he's not specifically saying anything, but says DLC characters that were rumored to be in the game for Season 2. That he's just saying that it's in development, and basically Combo Fiend help push the game forward and everything like that. So he's not guaranteeing anything at all.
Yeah.
So since he doesn't know much about it, besides.
However, then again, the characters we see in this leak or rumor are the same character we saw in the previous leak for the Season 2 of MVCI.
Exactly. Okay, so speaking on this topic right here, this guy, he definitely has street cred, with the whole leaks and stuff. He's definitely been right about a lot of leaks. And when it comes to the new characters and whatnot, I'll just explain it like this. So with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite coming out and everybody just basically stomping all over it. Oh, the game is bad. It looks terrible. This and that. Okay, they originally, from a business, I'm talking specifically from a business standpoint, they had characters after the first initial wave of DLC that they probably had in production. They probably had the models. They had everything ready to go. But ever since, the game was deemed a flop, basically, they just stopped. Yeah, they went silent because it really wouldn't make sense to put out more DLC because they had not recouped the amount of money that they threw into making the game.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I think the biggest factor for that was how their biggest tournament went out, which was the Battle of the Stones.
Battle of the Stones.
Yeah, that tournament was such a there was so much miscommunications between the TOs and the players. The whole tournament was pretty much a mess, and it kind of showed with how they don't even have the Twitch channel for where it was streamed up. I think the only way you can watch that tournament is through Jaco's channel.
Yep.
Furthermore on that, they didn't even run it after Street Fighter. They ran it side by side to Capcom Cup. So you had to pick one or the other. So people are there for Street Fighter. They didn't line up the tournaments so that one could be at one time and then lead to the other. It was simultaneous. So it's like you're robbing your own audience of other content. It's kind of ridiculous if you think about how it's
the crazy part is there was that video. There was that video that leaked for the MVCI esports thing, right?
Back in August.
Yeah, I actually saw that.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
They just slid that, literally all of this stuff, they were hyping up for MVCI and stuff like that. Yo, this is gonna be esports. We're gonna make this game big, just like Street Fighter 5. It's you're gonna see big things for this game. So people expected, well, it's gonna be in Capcom Cup, right? We're gonna have Street Fighter 5 and MVCI as the main flagship games for this cup or this year-long event.
How it was initially.
Yeah, I think they stated that in the video too. I'm pretty sure, but I have no idea if that video is still it probably still does exist on the internet.
Somewhere in somewhere in the deep dark side of the internet. I know.
Yeah. But other than that, it's they realized that their image right now in terms of fighting game wise was pretty bad because they made they got this bad publicity right after their other biggest flop, which was Street Fighter V.
Yeah,
in the beginning,
God.
In the beginning, Street Fighter V launch was terrible. Oh my God!
Don't get me started with that, man.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I mean, not every launch is perfect. Tekken 7 wasn't perfect by any means at all at launch, and other games like same thing. Soul Calibur 6, we'll get to that later, but that launch was fine from what it seems. But in terms of MVCI, it's like its launch. Oh, who died? Oh, never mind. Okay, going back. Okay, going back to my topic. For MVCI launch, the game itself wasn't bad. It's just that what's it called? What was holding it back the most? The look of the game. The look of the game is what detected people first. It basically turned into another KOF 14 situation where people just looked at the game. Like, for example, if you look at the first trailer of KOF 14. Oh man, it's so different. It's totally different. Everything looks super stiff. Visuals were a little bit different and stuff like that. Like people were joking about it, saying it looks like a PS2 face. There were the Andy memes everywhere. And the same thing happened with MVCI, except this game they were going fast as fuck. It's like they
rushed everything. Like, okay, so I remember when the first trailer came out, I was like so hyped. I was like,
at PlayStation Experience.
God is real, you know.
Everyone was, man.
You know, it was the best. It was the best plan. They announced a re-release of Ultimate Marvel 3, something we would never expect, along with a new Marvel game. That sounds like something impossible compared to how they were treating Ultimate Marvel 3 during its lifespan. And people saying, "Oh, Ultimate Marvel 3 Uncanny Edition is happening, guys. Just wait. Just wait, what's gonna happen."
Well, and then then the gameplay trailers came out, and everybody's like, "What the hell? Like, this looks like a mobile game. It's like, it looks like Contest of Champions," and it did, man. It did. Like, you can tell, like, they were just ever since the whole MCU kicked off, they were like, "All right, we need to find a way to capitalize on this, growing like MCU movie trend."
I'm pretty sure they wanted Infinity War to help sales too, since they had characters like Thanos, Gamora,
they did,
and stuff like that.
And it bombed really badly because they did not put enough effort. And like the thing about it is that so they have, I know for a fact like these companies had more characters, but with the sales going the way they were, they were not gonna release them. For the simple fact of they're not going to make any money off of it, and on top of that, they're not going to give it out for free because this is Capcom.
They ruined their brand.
Marvel.
It's Capcom.
They ruined their brand.
You have to buy everything, and they're not going to give us anything for free. So after that, they just kind of they just dropped it off the board, and they just kind of left us to pick up the pieces, which is fine to have. So
I think what really hurt the game in the long run the most had to have been the demo they gave us.
The story mode demo.
The story mode demo.
There was actually two things. One was the demo, and two was basically not having iconic characters to the series in the game. So basically, no.
Oh yeah, the roster. The roster looks kind of suspect even now.
The roster is hella. It's just bad, dude. It's just like I said. They rushed everything. They wanted to make something to cash in on what was trending at the time, which is the MCU, Infinity War, all this hype stuff.
But the worst part is they did not symmetrical. It's not symmetrical. Marvel bleeds into Capcom.
Bucky's in a Capcom side. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why not?
It's like I understand. I understand they're gonna add more Capcom characters to fix that uneven balance to it and whatnot.
They should have done that in the beginning with.
But the problem is, people were suspect, and I think this is the biggest factor which caused people to stop playing the game. People were fully expecting them to reveal some sort of teaser for season 2 at the end of Battle of the Stones, but we got nothing like that.
Yeah. At least like a Marvel Cup of sorts, something.
Something. We got no reveal, and this was the biggest tournament for MVCI. Capcom was promoting the heck out of this, and the way it just got treated, so people were like, okay, you know what? Who cares if this tournament was horrible? Let's just see what they have to reveal at the end, and then the tournament or the stream just ends, and nothing. We just see Cloud get the Infinity Gauntlet, and then that's it.
And Coach Steve was like, well, guys, Bye, guys. Someone goes Street Fighter 5 Grand Finals.
Yeah. In terms of like the rumors, I'm still kind of skeptical though. I'm still pretty skeptical because I don't know why they would promote this as an update to MVCI if they want to make people forget about MVCI.
It's not. It's definitely not an update to MVCI. Like it's definitely a whole rebranding.
It's basically like the rumor said it was a rebranding, like, to make sure, right? Because what probably happened was that season 2 started out as an update, but since it bombed right there, they decided to turn what they had right there into a new game.
Honestly, I'd like it if it was a new game. I don't want them to like I don't want to hear anything like, oh my god, like Marvel vs. Capcom 4 is just another Smash Ultimate, where people compared Smash Ultimate to just being Smash 4 2.0.
Yeah, no, same,
if people get that comparison.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely from the PR crap storm that they had with Infinite, like they definitely need to make this like. I'm not saying like they should.
I think the best way they can do to make this them appeal, they need to do what Marvel 3 did, but modernize that with the MCU. Make a comic book, but combine the cinematic universe along with that.
And
that's
also,
the best way to put it.
And
people, like people were trying to do that. Like I saw with PC Mod, people were trying to make the comic book outline for the characters, like Marvel 3 did and stuff like that. So it's like they were going like, "Yo, Capcom, like we can do this better. Come on, you can do this."
Yeah, I would prefer a better rendering of the style it is rather than the comic book style. I mean, I see what they're going for. It just looked very unpolished.
Yeah.
But I did like it. I did like it how it looked in terms of like they're differentiating it.
Yeah.
But it does. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it looks shitty. It's a very shitty attempt at it. But excuse my language. It's a very bad attempt at it. Yeah, in terms of I don't know. I kind of like the different styles as opposed to
what they have to do.
It should be a comic book, you know.
The problem with the realistic
the
style
comic book is like way better than the VXs they have.
It's okay, honestly. Like it looks like if it had more time, it could have been way better. Like it's not bad. It's not as bad as people are trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, you know. Like, it definitely looks different, and it stands out, and if they had put a little more effort, didn't rush things, and really, like you said, polished it up, it would have been, like, really stunning, honestly, like, with the whole Unreal Engine, like, for example, like, the way the ice looks, like, on ice moves, like, that looks really sick, and, like...
It looks sick, but it kind of looks kind of janky.
Yeah, exactly. Like it just needed more time.
Yeah. Even compared to Marvel 3, even compared to like Marvel 3, Marvel 3's effects with ice were look pretty natural. It does. In MVCI, it kind of looks kind of like
like a palette swap, real quick.
Yeah, it looks like kind of choppy.
A palette swap.
Compared to like
just put the blue palette on, you know.
But like the art style, I think the major problem with is definitely has to be like some specific characters, like let's say for example, Capcom side definitely suffers from the art style though. Like for example, Chun-Li, Dante, Chris.
Hey, I'm not trying to say the graphics are not like, but the armor characters look pretty sick.
Yeah,
and Venom's polish looks pretty sick too.
Like for example, the DLC costumes for X and Zero, they look really good. Those look really good. Yeah. So like some of the stuff, don't get me wrong, looks pretty good.
Like Thanos is pretty sick looking. Is the way they did it.
Some stuff kind of looks off. Like I kind of don't like the way Jetto looks. Kind of.
I think Jetto looks great. What are you talking about?
Jetto looks great, man.
I mean, I'm not saying that he looks bad. It's just that he kind of looks kind of what's his face? Kind of iffy, but he's not like one of the worst ones. He's not one of like the worst ones.
I mean, there's an overall sense of them not looking as good as they should or they could.
Plus, and some animations look kind of what's it called?
Wonky.
Yeah, like they exactly like they rushed it, which they precisely did. Like it's very.
I think Ghost Riders Level 3 is a good example of that.
Ghost Riders.
Yes.
Like they cheesed out on the effects. It just showed the angle. It's kind of
Have a knife, death now.
Chris kind of looks choppy too with his guns.
Yeah, Chris's model is terrible. I'm not gonna lie.
Need an egg.
So guys, if you don't mind, I have a few topics that I want to hit in regards to the rumors. So if you guys want to,
let's go for it.
Put your foil hats on real quick, because I'm gonna go over a couple of points that I actually prepared ahead of time for this. So
cool.
Here's the thing I want to talk about is that the thing that hurts about the rumor is that it could be possible.
Yeah.
It could be possible. That's the thing that's like, okay, people always want to believe it could be like this. Oh, it'd be dope if this version came out. It'd be dope if that. But like, Combo Fiend works for Marvel.
That's actually something I want to talk about.
That's not a what if. That's facts, right?
Facts.
Okay,
it's facts.
That's actually something I want to touch on. That's something I want to touch on because for example, so with the way Marvel Infinite, like everything that happened with that game, I honestly feel like it's like 60-40 Marvel on this. Like they are the ones who were like, okay, let's rush this. Because you can just tell, okay, for example, like when they made the combo videos and then they were talking about how Marvel told Capcom like that they cannot perform any combos like on any Marvel characters.
Only on Wii.
You remember that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh man.
Yeah, Marvel is definitely the one. Yeah, Marvel is definitely the one who was like trying to like supersede like everything that Capcom was doing. They were definitely the ones who were, trying to put their foot down on the dumbest things. And I'm pretty sure they were the ones who were like, let's just get this made as fast as possible because we think it's gonna sell just because like how well our movies are doing. Blah, blah, blah.
Just how well
That's exactly. Not the case.
And now, that was when Combo Fiend was at Capcom. He's the one who's kind of like overseeing things and stuff. But now he's at Marvel, which is great because now finally we have somebody who really appreciates Marvel vs. Capcom and everything that it stands for, talking to the people who probably are the main ones to blame for screwing it all up, which I think is great. And that's why I think the rumors are possibly true. Like, I'm leaning more towards them being true and like possible than it being just like, this is horse crap. Like, don't believe it. Like, no, it definitely can be true. So I just wanted to touch on that.
I've been thinking about it. And also, Disney is buying 2060 Fox by January 1st, 2019. That's another big factor too,
Exactly. So they're gonna have all the stuff that they've been, wanting. They're gonna have all their character rights and all that stuff. So minus Spider-Man because that's still Sony, but
it's still Sony, yeah.
Either way,
so honestly, but thinking of these rumors at the end of the day, Marvel vs. Capcom has kind of had this trend of rumors like with Marvel 3. Ultimate Marvel 3 Uncanny Edition and stuff
Ultimate
like that.
Ultimate Marvel 3 X, remember that too?
yeah. And then a new Marvel comes out.
Exactly.
And all this stuff like that. We will never know what it is, what it's
hella rumors, and then a new Marvel comes out. We know the cycle.
Exactly. The rumors are always like, and rumors of updates are the things that are.
They're going somewhere. Going somewhere.
Yeah, the update rumors are usually not true, but like once there's like rumors of like a completely new game, like I can believe that more than I can believe an update. Because after the game comes out, like I was telling everybody that I knew who really loved the game, I was like, look, this game is not getting an update. Like y'all don't believe me. You guys are still like holding your hands out, having hope, and I'm telling y'all, like this is business at the end of the day. And from what I can see personally, like from the numbers, from everything that has happened with the PR, the marketing, like this is not getting an update. They are not going to waste their time.
Yeah.
But as far as developing a new game that completely will overshadow the quote-unquote failure of Marvel Infinite, that is actually a possibility because if they put their minds to it and they really want to deliver something for the fans, they know that that it will sell. It will sell.
Yeah. In terms of like usually when a game is going out, you'll see some kind of update like, hey, thank you guys for your support, but we have nothing more to say in terms of this next year, blah, blah. Like, so like straight up got ghosted, right? We all know this, but here's the thing is that this is one of the things about like it making it possible to me is that this ghosting, as far as a rebranding attempt so that they just kind of sweep one under the rug.
Yeah, people
this
go
is
like,
one of the
what's
few
Marvel
this is,
Infinite?
Yeah, this is one of the few things. This is one of the few things that explains the ghosting is that maybe there is a rebranding happening. Like, you know, why would they want to keep one alive if they're trying to bury it and get the next one going in the works
Honestly,
or whatever?
I think what this is reminding me of is when Capcom tried to make their own versus game, quote unquote, called Capcom Fighting All Stars.
Capcom Fighting Jam.
No. Before that. Yeah.
Capcom All Stars?
Yeah, Fighting All Stars. The one before Fighting Jam. The one they were quote unquote working on and was done, but they never released it or something like that.
I remember that. Having like Strider or something. I do remember that.
Yeah,
I heard a lot of stuff about that too.
Yeah, that's like its own unique characters, kind of like how Fighting Jam had Ingrid at the end of the day and stuff like that. But then they just scrapped that and made Fighting Jam, which was basically just them dumping their old sprites, kind of a la Marvel 2, and saying, people like Marvel 2, let's try it with other franchises. Let's put Darkstalkers, Red Earth, Alpha 3. I mean, was it Alpha 3? I don't remember which Alpha it was. Alpha 2, Alpha 3.
I think it was Third Strike. It might have been Third Strike.
Yeah, and Capcom's all
they
about...
had Third Strike as well.
And Capcom's all about reuse assets. You feel me?
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, and that game was basically a flop. And then they kind of just swept it under a rug. Attempted to make like another kind of like Capcom versus fighter where they have kind of like SNK, like their King of Fighters franchises, which is basically a mishmash of all their franchises in one game. Capcom never really attempted that kind of approach to a fighting game after Fighting Jam. So I don't want to believe that they're going to do the same thing with Marvel Infinite since it was such a big flop. So maybe they're not.
Let's just say we're not. It's a fact.
So here's the thing. Capcom is notorious for reusing what it's already built in terms of its engines, right? You know, so you get Street Fighter 3, you get Street Fighter Second Impact, you get Street Fighter Third Strike, right? And they're not in new games, but they're reused and low key rebalances from one to the next, right? Things like this. So I wouldn't be surprised. And the same thing with how they did with Marvel 3. It's not quite it's Ultimate Marvel, but it's a new game. But in real talk, it's a balance.
It's basically just Marvel 3 with Marvel.
Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. This one would be one of the few Marvel games, the only one with the exception of that Fighting Jam game you talk about that doesn't get its engine polished or reused or rehashed. That's weird. Like Capcom is notorious for that. That's their MO, actually, that people complain about. Like, why are you giving us the same stuff? You know, like, honestly, so, it's not like it's out of the norm for Capcom to reuse something they used, like such as Infinite for Marvel 4, in my opinion.
Okay, well, let's move on to some other rumors, like about how like the game might be structured in terms of, like maybe it's like a 3v3, 2v2 zones. What do you guys think?
Before we move on, I just want to get one last thing about Combo Fiend. If Combo Fiend really went to Marvel to make the next Marvel, that's hella gangster.
Dude, that is, bro.
It is.
That's real gangster, because you got to remember, Marvel Infinite was his baby at Capcom.
Marvel was his game.
It was his baby. Like Marvel 3, it was his baby there. So I wouldn't be surprised if when he hits the other side, if he can somehow reuse that or you don't understand. There's no more passionate person about making Marvel games than Combo Fiend. If you really think about it, man. Like if there's anyone who needs to be in that spot, it would be that guy. So you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, whoa, like
hella facts, bro.
But yeah.
So okay, but let's talk about the gameplay or what they're speculating on that.
Yeah, so characters, man. I've always wanted Asura in a game ever since I saw him. Like since I played his game, I definitely want Asura. Like that's like really the only Capcom character that like I really want. As far as like other characters, like I don't know, what do you guys think? Like me personally, I would like to see them take out Dante and Virgil and put in Nero and put Nero with his Devil Breaker. Dude, what else would you? What else could you possibly want? You get
That would be such a uproar in the community.
Oh my gosh!
I know. No, because funny thing you mentioned that. When Nero first was a character, people hated him. Like, people actually legitimately hated that character.
Really?
Yeah, At the release of DMC4, people hated Nero. People were like, who the hell is this? Why is it not Dante? Why am I not playing as Dante and stuff like that? People hated the fact...
They did a character swap, some Frank West stuff. They did some Dead Rising stuff.
Yeah.
Give you new protagonists? Okay, I see.
I mean,
is Dante eventually unlockable or his own campaign?
He doesn't have his own campaign. It's just Nero's campaign backwards.
I could see where some of the resentment would build there.
Yeah, and Dante's campaign was literally him going through Nero's campaign backwards. He fought all of Nero's enemies and bosses.
Yeah, it's just like just slap him in. Yeah,
let's just get Nero with the Devil Breaker, where he actually is a badass.
Honestly, I think the best thing they could do is if they add Nero to the DMC crew instead of bringing back like Trish or whatnot.
Yeah,
Trish with Nero.
I think it would be a sin to get rid of Dante because like it's his game series, right? But seeing Virgil go for someone else, I wouldn't mind.
Understandably, I can understand why a lot of people would like to see Virgil say bye-bye, considering his notorious fame in Marvel 3, and so on.
That actually wouldn't even be the main reason. I wouldn't mind just them changing it up.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind that, but if like we had to because keep in mind, Devil May Cry in Marvel 3 ended up having like 3 characters for representing the series. They got Dante, Trish, and Virgil, right?
Dude, as long as you can make a team, it's gravy.
Yeah,
Well, you only really need one, which is Nero. I mean, he's the son of Virgil, and he's Dante's nephew,
and stuff like that.
Breaker, and now DMC5 is his game basically. So why do we need Dante? We only got one Devil May Cry character in MVCI, anyways, right?
Yeah, if he's the newest DMC character, I would want him in because that's what these games are. They're like a all stars versus.
Honestly, I think the main problem,
the newest and greatest. I even respect that the MVCI has the Marvel cast.
Okay. I think the main problem is with Dante. They've always made his most iconic version, which is his Devil May Cry 3 version, and they always adapt that moveset into these games.
Exactly. That's why we need to get rid of him. Like he's.
I mean, but they can adapt something else. They could probably use his Devil May Cry 5 incarnation or Devil May Cry 4 incarnation.
Nero. Like why? Dante is yesterday's news.
I mean, in terms of, like,
we're getting into it now.
Well, it's like there's room for those like I don't think there's like any point to like remove Dante or there's a point to remove Virgil since obviously they took Trish and Virgil out of Infinite. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be kind of upset if you couldn't make a team of Dante and Nero or something like that.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I've always.
It's like, for example, let's say for a fact you can finally have a team of X and Zero in Infinite, but in Marvel 3 you couldn't make that team. Having both Maverick Hunters on one team and so on and so forth, which really begins to question is depending on what team structure they go on will really determine what roster size it would be.
Exactly. So what do you guys think it'll be? 2v2 or 3v3? Like,
I think honestly, I want to see Aiding. I want to see Aiding doing have another go at this franchise because Marvel 3 was a blast.
It was beautiful, man.
Visually. And like just gameplay wise, it was a blast.
Yeah, basically, I freaking love Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That's because in that game, any combo you can think of right there, if there's a way, you can probably do it. And
that's a whole different discussion about the freedom of both engines. Whoa, that's a whole. You can't read into that like it's a one way. What's the one way talk there? Whoa,
we're not getting into that. Both combo systems are vastly different, but I kind of prefer how Aiding handled the way to it in comparison to Infinite.
What do you
If
mean,
that
like
makes any
assists?
sense.
You're talking about assists?
Well, not just assists, just how they handled each characters in comparison.
Yeah.
Just the game in general.
Here's what I think in terms of what the engine's going to look like. I think that nobody expected how good this last Infinity War movie did. No one, everyone expected it to do super great, and it did like the GOAT.
Insane,
great.
yeah.
It did like double the GOAT great, like insane.
The money, dude.
So I think if there's a way to tie the game in 2019 to the next movie coming out, I think that's the route that they're going to take just on that kind of hype and notoriety alone. Like that movie's popular. So I wouldn't be surprised if they stuck with the gems and the whole thing.
Yeah, I definitely do expect them to keep them with the gems right there. Definitely 100% expect that. That's because people will probably play Marvel's Capcom saying, "Wait, why can't I use the Infinity Gauntlet right there? Why can't I use
exactly?
Like, isn't that movie the most making money anything ever? It's like honestly, that. Like it's honestly, like that.
I honestly don't mind which direction of the series they go to. I just hope that they allow Aiding is the guys who made Marvel 3, the developers of them. Marvel Infinite was made in-house. I'd rather see what would happen if they gave Aiding the new Marvel 4 to see how things would go out. Because Marvel 3, like originally, I mean, it wasn't amazing, but I mean, it sold a lot of copies.
It did.
Yeah.
Well, vanilla Marvel 3 at least.
Yeah.
Well,
a lot of
personally.
Yeah, but Marvel vs. Capcom 3, the vanilla launch like that was definitely freaking rough because they had bad netcode. You can't watch you can't spectate fucking lobby matches at all.
Yeah.
So that means
Marvel 3 had its fair share of problems in the beginning as well. So there's that too.
Or none of them are beyond critique, straight up.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, like, me personally, man, I think 3v3 nowadays is just like way overrated. Like, I'm happy with 2v2. 2v2 honestly has been way more fun. Like, when I first learned that Infinite was gonna be 2v2, I was like, what the hell is this shit? You know, like, where are my assists? And like 3v3, like, come on. And then I finally, like, when we started playing it, like, nobody, like how War Destroyer said, anticipated how good the whole 2v2 active tag system was going to be, man. And honestly, would not mind it being that way again. Like 3v3, like, I mean, if it comes out to be that way, like, I'll still play it and stuff, but I would much rather have 2v2. I feel like the team combo system there is, like, way better. Like, way better.
Here's
I don't know, man. In terms of, like, 2v2, like, team games, overall, I feel as though that's been, like, I wouldn't say oversaturated more, but it's definitely like been seen a lot or more so than 3v3.
Yeah, but
what was Zerms gonna say?
We only had one 3v3 fighting game recently, which was Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Yeah.
And we had like a couple 2v2 fighters, which obviously one was like a Blaze Blue Tag Battle, and I know
Tag,
I know there was probably a couple mini games too with there. Not mini games.
Granted, this 2v2 has a lot of freedom more than a lot of the 3v3 engines might have, and not only that, but it's almost like a 2.5 because you got the stones. You can't, there's some other things to factor in terms of like in some ways it's more complex having two characters because of the engine itself. Like that engine with 3 characters would just overload anyone's.
I mean, that's just because how they're building the game. It was designed around having 2 characters only.
Yeah, exactly.
So they compensate.
So it's not like you get robbed the experience. They build the engine to accommodate the 2v2 game. You feel me?
Yeah, they really couldn't like take Marvel 3 and like apply that with only 2 characters. That wouldn't.
No. They actually can do that right there. They can make it so that only 2 characters on your team can be on screen at once, but when the other character goes off screen, you can call in the other one right there. So basically, it's like a longer tab mechanic right there when you do it. So like
I think I know what you're talking about. Are you talking about like the hidden mechanic in Marvel 3?
No, not like that. Basically, it's like a mixture of. I would say it's a mixture of freaking the tag mechanics from Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite with BlazBlue cross tag mechanics, where you what's mess it up because you can tag anytime you want right there, or at certain points you can hold down the tag button and have that character stay on the screen and have you admit stuff like that.
No.
It was crazy that people talking about changes to the fighting engine when the only thing that was kind of renowned praise about this game was the fighting engine. So I think everything else. I'm not saying it's beyond patching or beyond fixing, but as far as it changing, I don't know, man. I don't think it would change the one thing that people are loving about
Infinite in the very beginning was pretty rough. Like,
dude, any kind of infinites or dumb loops, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think they'd be more akin to do something like that again to the next engine rather than a whole new engine or mechanic itself.
I'm just saying that. I'm saying that this could be the next process of, the next step of evolution of fighting games. If they decide to go back to 3v3, but they want to keep the freaking tag mechanic, they can mix those tag mechanics
It's still possible. It's still possible to do.
I think so too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They can definitely do this kind of the way Infinite's doing it. They can definitely do it with like 3 characters. It's definitely possible.
When Marvel 3 came out, and then 8 months later we got the new game / update,
Ultimate.
It was very much the same game, just with major patches. It wasn't a different engine. So if they do something like this again just a year later, I would imagine it to be very similar. But this is me kind of factoring with Capcom's history with these things.
Yeah, but
they love reusing their stuff, you know.
Remember what happened back in 2011 with the tsunami/earthquake that happened? Mm-hmm. That because of that, right, they wanted to do a DLC for the game, like that, have a major passes, but because of that, they had to basically put stuff aside right there and have a new, physical gameplay there. So it's something that they couldn't prevent because of that disaster right there. Mm-hmm. Because that puts them back right there, so they had to re-update the game in a physical disc right there instead of doing a patch.
Damn, the Marvel gods are real gods.
But yeah, what was I gonna say? In terms of how I would like Marvel 4 to play, I honestly have no preference. I really don't mind if it would be 3v3 or 2v2 or the crazy assumption people are going like, "Oh, what if you could just choose? Like, you could do 3v3, 2v3."
That would be pretty godlike, just like. How they have arcade mode, story mode, 2v2, 3v3,
or 1v1.
Dude, I was just about to say that if they made a 1v1 but I would play it. I would really play it.
That'd be interesting, man.
Like, honestly, if they approached it like how CVS2 did it, with how it changes the 3 different options drastically change up how the character would work, I'm down for that.
That'd be crazy. That would be super crazy. That
would.
But the problem with that is, I'm pretty sure that would pretty much need different not a different engine, but more resources to be able to do that.
Well, I think people would actually crap their pants if.
I'm pretty sure people.
Something totally different.
No. Just imagining it. If you could choose, then you'd have crazy situations like 2v3 or 1v3 or 1v2 and so on and so forth. It's people go how the heck would that work?
Skullgirls?
Yeah, kind of like Skullgirls. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly like Skullgirls. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, hey, so somebody want to fill me in on what exactly Maximilian's hot take was on the game?
Okay. Hot take. Basically, we literally just spoke about it too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, literally everything we've been talking about, Maximilian basically said.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
When would you guys like to see something related to this title?
2019 at the earliest.
In the next 4 years.
Yeah.
I want to see something by the end of the year.
I want to wait.
Early January.
I want to wait.
Something as in some kind of hint or some kind of.
When do you guys want to see a hint?
I want to wait.
Says I think that maybe a hint probably maybe the next Marvel's the next Avengers movie, maybe.
I can take my.
Oh, that would be sick.
Yeah,
I can take my sweet time. I can wait just as long. They need the time. I don't want them to just rush into things this time, like they did with Street Fighter 5. Because they did that with Street Fighter 5 as well, and then they do it with MVCI. I don't want them to see them going into this hole of where they're gonna announce their game and then to go oh well, we announced it. Now what? Oh shoot, we even announced the release date. Well, great. We only have like 8 months until this game comes out. So what do we do, guys?
Yeah. I got a random question about I want to ping you guys all your answers about this.
Sure.
What do you think people will be satisfied, and you speak for yourselves as well, if they release the character roster, there's no X-Men, but there's Logan and Laura, just people from that film, Venom maybe too?
Oh, sure.
Would y'all trip on that? Would y'all trip on that? Or would you be like, all right, they're going hardcore MCU?
Well,
I would definitely trip on that.
I'd rather be
because it worked because freaking people would love to see Logan. People probably would love to see Laura. They probably would love to freaking just see all those freaking characters out there. I actually people will probably be okay with that if
honestly.
I mean that every Marvel game's MO is just featuring the latest. I mean Marvel 2 was the exception because they just piled them all. But after that,
You know what? I'd totally be fine with the Marvel 3 approach, where majority of the Marvel 3 cast would be characters like, who the heck? For example, who the heck is Dormammu? Who the heck's Super Skrull?
I like
Who
that.
is Taskmaster?
But see,
stuff like that.
Rocket,
Raccoon,
Dormammu, Thor, these were all characters that had movies coming up in the near future. I respect the keeping the recent. I don't know. I like the new. That's why I always play the latest Marvel. I just like it when they keep it current. And we haven't seen an X-Men movie in quite a while.
Okay, speaking of X-Men, me personally, I do not miss the X-Men. I really don't care. They can leave those characters out. For me personally,
good functions.
I don't care.
Oh, no.
I'm not hyped about the only characters from the X-Men that I played were let's see, X-23, and I'm not gonna lie, I played Wolverine, but I really didn't care about Wolverine. I mainly liked the characters that I really liked were X-23, and I like the way they fuse the Fantastic Four all into one character with Super Skrull. I thought Super Skrull was a cool character. Nah, screw Jean Grey. If there was one X-Men character that I want to play, it's Cyclops. That's it.
I love the X-Men roster when the X-Men were more of the kids, I'm just gonna be real. So it's not that I'm dissing them or hating on them, but I'd much rather see Logan and Daredevil and Punisher and I want to see the guys that we're talking that the kids are seeing now. You gotta remember, you grew up seeing the X-Men. Right now, someone's growing up seeing something else, and that's kind of what's hot,
They got Luke Cage, the Punisher,
Iron Fist, bro. We need him back.
I'm surprised he wasn't in Infinite. Actually, I was actually
Same here, man.
about that.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I mean, Black Panther, I love that they put him in. Of all the characters, I respect just how new he was in the movie coming out. I don't know. I just love it when they go that way.
Yeah, same. Yeah. I like that too. Yeah, bringing back the X-Men,
honestly,
really
I don't think it's as necessary as people
kids don't know about the X-Men these days. Let's keep it real. They really don't.
And
unless they're just unless they're just mega nerds and they love the series and they love
it's kind of true. Unless they're old, unless their dad or their brother was in the comics or something.
Exactly.
Honestly,
they don't know anything about
just thinking about it. I don't think it's gonna be that hard for them to mess up the Marvel side of things. Honestly, if they just add more variety than just stick to the Marvel 3 cast for the most part.
Yeah, that was kind of
But however,
if was included in the roster, it would have been a lot more respectable.
However, the more important part is what they do with that Capcom side.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
the Capcom side is definitely.
When he was speaking about bringing the guy who's in the new Devil May Cry, see, that's what I'm saying. I want to see the all stars. I like it being they got that guy in it, the newest, hottest.
Yeah, they got the new versions of the characters. For example, I was kind of tilted that at the fact in MVCI they didn't put the DMC4 version of Dante. Instead, they went like, oh yeah, let's just put the DMC3 back.
Exactly. Like Ruby would be cool, but Logan, I would be like, dude, like really, they're going in, like
and stuff like that. For like, I'd be totally fine. Like in terms of like, I wouldn't be down for like, for Capcom's sake, I wouldn't be totally down for like, oh, new stuff. I'd be totally down if they went for like obscure stuff.
Yeah, I do like that. Like, yeah, that's the kind of stuff that worked, like having Arthur and stuff. Like, yeah, they always got to be those like Easter egg kind of characters. Yeah, I get it.
Like,
that's always good.
Like Onimusha characters, since like they're re-releasing Onimusha,
and
stuff like that.
I'm definitely feeling that.
My gosh,
and then like maybe throwing in like crazy like out of left field a Sengoku Basara character from their Sengoku Basara series.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Okay.
A Breath of Fire character or whatnot, and so on and so forth.
Okay. Jacob's probably gonna get mad at me for saying this, but I could totally live without Nemesis if they put in like that guy from Resident Evil 4 who has like the plagas and he has like a sword arm. You know what I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Dude, Krauser? Yes, him. Yeah, exactly.
Actually, you know what? Instead of Chris, I'd totally take Leon.
No, I actually would totally take the village chief in that game. the village
chief.
If they brought like
Krauser, bro. Krauser's a straight
I don't know, but I would also like if Krauser was in the game, I would take the village chief.
And honestly, it's like I'd love to see characters like Beautiful Joe and Amaterasu come back because you never see them nowadays.
Exactly.
Stuff like that. And Gene from God Hand, who was in that leak. He'd be perfect for Marvel vs. Capcom as well. So I'd totally be down.
Like you would see so many people playing fucking him from God Hand.
It's like it would be like people would definitely play Gene Iron Fist or something like that.
Yeah.
Is there any character? I never played any of the Monster Hunter games. Is there any like other significant characters?
No,
Monster Hunter?
Not really.
Nope,
not really.
It's just like you kind of customize your character to make them whatever you want.
Yeah. So. They just basically made like a generic OC with armor set from the games.
I see. That's pretty cool.
And using various weapons in the game or from the game.
I get it. That's tight. Like a generic set.
Okay.
Well, not generic, but they're basically using the weapons they would use in like the Monster Hunter games, but incorporate that into the moveset.
That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, that's basically what the different Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Is there any other new Capcom franchises like that are like recent that are that?
I mean, a lot of people want to see Resident Evil 7 characters, which I'm kind of iffy about. I'd rather, because then people be like, "Ew, why'd they pick Resident Evil 7? Why couldn't they just add Leon with what's his face?"
Resident Evil 7, like who? I didn't even play that. Like
I didn't even play that either. I'm not gonna lie.
We're not gonna dive into 7, so.
And it's like I'd rather be fine if they add Leon and Wesker's son, and he basically play like Wesker with some differences.
Yo, Wesker's son?
Yeah.
What?
Sick.
Yeah,
that would
whatever.
Be so sick. Holy crap!
I forgot his name. I forgot his name. I forgot his name. Jake.
Jake.
Yeah, Jake. Leon and Jake. I'd be totally fine with that. For Resident Evil's sake. In terms, honestly, that's what I think people are like frothing at because they want more variety. Because I think people got spoiled from Marvel 3 in comparison to like in Marvel 2, you had everything. In Marvel 3, they kind of mixed it up. Like really, like
we want variety, and we also like War Destroyer said, we want that new man. We don't want to see all these old characters. We want to see new, different characters. Like you said, more obscure characters and like
and stuff like that. I mean, sure, they can bring back like fan favorites. Like, obviously, if they bring Dante back, I would expect to see him doing Devil May Cry 5 stuff, riding his motorcycle.
You're gonna see
having his cowboy hat, having meteors fall from the sky and stupid crap like that.
But
and so on and so forth,
stuff, man.
Having finally bringing back classic Mega Man. Or something like that would definitely.
That's dope. I even like the way he plays. People complain about it. I like the way he plays.
But I mean, that would be a cool callback. It's like people go like, "Oh my god, they brought back classic Mega Man," and then you have like Mega Man X and Mega Man Volnut just to like complete the trio. Because in like versus games, Those are like the main 3 that have been playable. X, Volnut, and Classic.
Get that DBZ cast going on.
Actually,
the same
there
character.
you go. That's a perfect idea. They should probably try to incorporate from Capcom side what they had from TVC, and expand on that more. Like
I would love to see Basu, man. Basu would be sick.
Saki,
Alex,
Kaiji no Soki.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
hey, what do you guys think about if any SF5 characters? People always talk about Rashid.
I'd be fine with Rashid. I honestly
he looked like he'd be dope. He'd actually look like he'd be really dope in that engine.
How's it here?
Zeku.
Zeku.
Nah, we got Strider already. Definitely gonna do Strider.
They gotta be like superhuman, dog. You know who they're going up against. It can't be just no karate dude. He's gonna get blasted. Ryu's having a hard enough time, you know.
Look at me.
Fucking weird shit here, man. Come on.
Exactly, dude. Gotta have powers here.
But yeah, I want basically the main gist of it. I want the game to be more like popping than ever. I want them like something. They have to do like major things to challenge, obviously, like Dragon Ball Fighters and Cross Tag Battle. So the good idea would be like, you know, like make them choose their playstyle, kind of a la CVS2, where you could choose your groove, but instead of choosing your groove, you choose how many characters, kind of like Ratio, I guess. From
Ratio Marvel, what?
Kind of like Ratio.
Honestly, I think honestly, what will make or break this game is the cast. Honestly,
it's the cast. Honestly, they just need to go ham with like.
Yeah,
They just need to make it look new, so people realize, oh shoot, this is Marvel 4, and it's like when people look at Marvel Infinite, isn't this just Marvel 3 and stuff like that? Because
guys.
People would just look at Marvel Infinite and see like a majority of the cast that's in the game are veterans from Marvel 3, for the most part, at the very least.
Yeah, what's up, Steve?
Oh no! I was gonna say, what were you trying to say, Zerms?
I'm trying to bring up the other leak that we were trying to talk about.
Oh yeah, the one Jacob posted. Whoops.
Okay.
Which is what? What's that leak?
Okay,
basically, yeah.
Go on, basically, this is a 4chan link from an anonymous 4chan source. This one right here is very iffy. It's most likely fake, but we can go off it because, you know. Yeah, but it's probably very most likely fake, but we're just gonna talk about it because, you know, it's something interesting.
It's fun to talk.
Marvel vs. Capcom 4 has been in development since 2017, and since it was supposed to be a pass for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, the game will be announced in late 2018 or mid 2019, with a late 2019 or early 2020 release date. The team development the team development of the game is the same team. It's a similar team to Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. John D was the biggest reason why this game was taking so long in development.
John, fuck that.
John D. John D. John D.
However,
John, fuck that game, D.
However, due to the overall public success in the past, and up becoming a whole new game. Graphics have been completely overhauled, balance has been changed. The only thing carrying over from the Infinite is the stones attack system, as well player reaction was extremely positive towards those things. The game will be a 3v3 instead of 2v2. You'll be able to choose between the system from Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or an X Factor, or you'll be able to pick stones and after tab. This is why the game is taking so long to develop. Art direction has been really changed. Art development has been severely changed. While Marvel vs. Capcom universe synergies is present, the majority of Marvel characters will be so similar to the comic counterparts instead. So, also, the classic Marvel vs. Capcom costumes are going to be in the game from what I've been told. Everyone from Infinite returns. Marvel's returning cast is Wolverine, Magneto, Doom, Deadpool, Storm, Cable, Sentinel, Supergraph, Blackheart, Psylocke, and Gambit. New Marvel characters that have never been in the series before are Doc Octopus, Green Goblin, Miss Marvel, King Arcanoid, Miles, aka Miles Morales, and Ant-Man. And then Capcom's returning cast are Beautiful Joe, Amaterasu, Mega Man, Jin, Captain Mango, Wesker, Jill, Virgil, Phoenix Wright, and Akuma. New Captain characters are Base.EX, Samanosuke
Samanosuke from Yeah.
Sir, Lady, and Edward Falcon. Any questions, please?
From Power Stone, yep.
Any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. I have more info. What is this supposed? But I felt this most info is what most important to people. To basically.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. Basically the biggest thing right there. It's basically the freaking fighting game mechanics system, which is you can pick from
Marvel 3 style,
Marvel 3 style or tag style, and also the characters too. The characters are like basically what everyone wants right there mostly.
So there's only two things missing from that post. One is Darth Vader on that character roster.
Oh my god!
And a source.
This is not Soul Calibur 4.
Yep. And
this sounds like a bunch of horses.
That's the only two things missing in that post. Darth Vader on that list and a source. Straight up. You guys know what I'm saying about that.
This one Jack is also confirmed. Don't forget.
I'm not gonna lie. The one thing that has me like kind of going for this is the new characters they said for Marvel sides is Dr. Octopus, and he was found in Marvel 3 as like empty character slot or whatnot. Yeah, as a file. Along with I think Frank West or whatever, or was it Frank West?
Yeah, it was Frank West.
It was Frank West. It was Frank West. Yeah, Vanilla Marvel 3. This is not Ultimate. I'm pretty sure this was Vanilla Marvel 3.
He was found as an empty character slot in Marvel 3. What? Who? What? When? Where, bro?
Yeah, he was data mine there, and basically
data mine.
He was found.
Along with in Ultimate Marvel 3, the only character that was found was Anti-Venom, and he was an empty character slot. And when you loaded him up in Ultimate, the game would kind of be looking like a beat 'em up in the source, where you could only see one player since there was no in-game model which they could load for Anti-Venom.
Oh yeah.
So that's why people think that Dr. Octopus is gonna be.
Yeah, Dr. Octopus was one character, and Frank West was also the other. But Frank West ended up becoming a reality at the end of Marvel 3's life. Yes. That was. But yeah, Dr. Octopus was one of the characters. I'm surprised they haven't. Then again, probably Anti-Venom became Venom since like the new Venom movie, I guess. So there's that. In terms of the roster, like the thing, we were literally just talking about this, like the 3v3, 2v2. All they need to do is like add like a new 1v1 thing, which would like put a spin on this game. Maybe there's like a new mechanic that involves like 1v1.
Actually, if they make the game similar to freaking Go-Go style, where one character has a crap ton of health like that, there's a shit ton of damage, well, Teammate 2 will still help you out in neutral right there, but you will probably lose like a character in one combo.
And in 1v1, your character becomes like very very how would I compare it? If it was 1v1, it would be more comparable to a game like Guilty Gear or Blaze Blue in that sense of how it would flow, or something like that. You would have access to like let's say in Dragon Ball FighterZ, there's like more unique mechanics and stuff or whatnot since you're only by yourself and stuff. So maybe they might implement something like that so you can actually fight, like have one character and be able to fight off against 3 players. Or 3 characters or whatnot.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, a versus engine within a versus engine sounds really complicated. And I'm not saying that it makes it impossible, but there's definitely a trend of a dumbing down of games, especially fighting games recently. Yeah, and I don't think they're gonna go the overcomplicated route. If you notice, they made inputs like you hit 2 buttons. That's how you activate your stone. Like that you do down. Like I don't see them really trying to make it where do I pick my 3v2 team versus your 2v2. I don't know if they're gonna go that crazy with it.
I don't think it doesn't matter. I think the main focus is them trying to appeal to like the audience. I don't think it doesn't matter how hard the game is at this point. In my opinion, that is.
You think they're going to have no regards for balance or anything like that?
Well, not in no regard for balance. I think they're going to make the game, like how they used to make them and not worry about like, let's not like worry about making the game too easy, all right? Or like, I
mean, I would definitely wish it'd go that route, but
because
they pretty much made Beast Marvel the Street Fighter of 5 of Marvel games. I don't mean they're gonna go the other way. Go back
what
to
I'm
Third
trying
Strike,
to get,
you know?
like, no, because like, take it this way: they designed Marvel 3 with the exact same philosophy. They tried to make it easier for people to get into, but when like people started playing, it obviously wasn't the case because people still had difficulty doing the basic combo, which was light, medium launcher, or light, medium, heavy launcher, and then medium, medium, heavy launcher in the air and stuff.
Yeah, you talking about plinking, and they're like, "What? What are you talking about?"
Not even the plinking part. Most people I knew in Marvel 3 couldn't even do the basic air combo, and it was just light, medium, heavy, special. They're launched up into the air with the special button, and you can either have it on or off if you hold the button and you're automatically going to the air or whatever. Yeah. And then you just have to do like an air series, like light, medium, heavy, special, and they're back on the ground. A lot of people I knew, like casually wise, couldn't do even that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's what they did with Street Fighters. They kind of made it a little more accessible. I think they're gonna keep Marvel the same way.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind if they went towards the direction like they did with Marvel 3, and go further from that. You know what I mean? Like not exactly having that exact system where it's light, medium, heavy launcher. Because, like, that would make sense to a casual. It's like, oh, if I want to knock them onto the air, all I have to do is hit this button. Okay, that makes sense, or whatnot. Because, like, it's kind for some people, it might be confusing. All right, how do I knock them up into the air? Because Marvel Infinite went back to, like, punches and kicks, or whatnot.
I mean, they're going to make the game as easy to play as possible. I'm just going to tell you guys right now, like, if they couldn't understand light, medium, heavy launcher, like they're never gonna get it, and they're not gonna play the game. Like, that's just a fact. So
honestly,
they're gonna keep it easy to play.
But the major thing that's gonna get the casuals or like majority of people playing the game is the options you can choose. Like 1v1, 2v2, and 3v3 are gonna be important. I don't think it would matter how difficult the game is, just as long as people could choose if they could only play as one character or two characters or three characters.
The thing that's gonna get the casuals is the characters.
I think we're thinking dream games here, not real games. In my opinion,
it's not even. No, I'm not saying dream game.
It's not that
because majority of people I've heard really say, man, I'd really prefer if I was able to play one character in this game.
Hold on.
It's not that. It's accessibility.
I mean, there's going to be a group that prefers each.
No. The key thing right there is accessibility right now. Basically, the reason why Dragon Ball FighterZ was doing so well because actually hit the plan, but it's an easy to play game because of those auto combos.
They're gonna emulate.
Yeah, and basically because how that game is there, people, even scrubs, can actually play and win. And that's basically it. If you can freaking get the scrubs people that never play fighting games before play right there and actually win right there, they will keep coming. That's basically that's the main.
But I think a major part of Fighter's success is the name it's behind to begin with.
Yeah, like I said, characters are what's gonna draw you in. Regardless, even Dragon Ball even added the feature I was talking about where you could do 1v1s, 2v2s, or 3v3s.
Yeah, but that was further down the line right there. That was
pretty like later down the line. But what if like Marvel did the same thing but expanded upon it and made it like a unique thing to differentiate itself from like cross tag and fighters?
I mean there was when Darkstalkers 3 came out for the Dreamcast, it had the mode where you play the you could play the Darkstalkers 1 mode, Darkstalkers 2 mode, Darkstalkers 3 mode, and that was kind of like a finale. Like, we're done with this. We're just gonna give. It's not balanced by any means. It's just everything you wanted. Here you go. Almost like when they made Street Fighter that arcade edition where you could pick Champion edition, Street Fighter 2 edition, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I don't know if this Marvel's that. At that point yet.
Honestly, the reason why
I think they're ready to cash it out and say this is the last one. Here's everything.
The reason why I'm saying it, I'm just trying to find a way for Marvel to compete with like its competitors because it's got to do something to stand out against fighters and cross tag battle.
Basically, what they said, the only way they actually can redo it right there is basically make the game accessible and make the characters fun to play at the same time. Because obviously, right there, basically like. How I fucking play it, there's characters that love to fucking play in Dragon Ball FighterZ. But like, Hit right there, there's Tien, freaking Nappa right there. if someone can find those three characters that they like, or however many characters like, and they play them, and they can actually win matches right there, and never lose, let's lose occasionally, or they still have a chance to win, and also make them easy to play, because obviously right there, one of the biggest things right there, some of the characters that people would want to play, like Thor, Spider-Man, and something like that, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 right there, they were very hard to fucking play. That's because you have to do reverse DPs,
and plus they really weren't that good.
Here's another thing to consider too, is that they're not going for us. They're trying to appease us, but they're going for the masses, right?
Yeah.
So you got to understand, we're really versed in fighting games, and not only that, we play Marvel. Think about that. So they're not catering to us in terms of gameplay. They want to be able to hit 2 buttons, and now I have just as much as lead as you do. They're gonna want to put in these kind of I don't know. I think the way they did in Infinite. Have you guys ever seen 2 beginners or scrubs play Infinite? You know how hyped that crap looks. It's just this. I hit you with my stone, and then I activate my stone, and then I do you know how beginner kind of hype fun it is. If you kind of just know 1 2 3, launch them 1 2 3 super. Even if 2 people know just that, it gets out of control, dude. I don't think they're gonna try to take that away to satisfy you and I.
Yeah, I don't think the problem with that is then it's just because now Marvel actually has competition, is what I'm getting at, right?
Yes.
So they have to do something different in order to not be fighters or cross tag battle.
Yes. Well,
so they have to stand out in one way or shape or form.
So you don't think there's a rebranding of sorts? You think there's a redoing of sorts?
It's either rebranding or redoing. But another thing on that same topic like that, another thing like that people also do for Dragon Ball FighterZ, is that there's ability that you won't freaking get destroyed immediately out there, because how Dragon Ball FighterZ is right there, it takes multiple hits to actually, multiple raw hits right there to actually KO someone.
It depends. The only way you can actually one-hit kill someone is your resources. You have to use the majority of your resources to be able to fully kill one character with one hit.
I'm talking about the beginner level right there. Because of that right there, you don't freaking have BNBs right there that do freaking over 50% damage right there, and basically they get
or 75% or
But
I love those though.
Right there. I
love when someone does.
Well, beginners would love that too if they were able to do it, but that's the problem. Usually, beginners aren't able to do that.
I love it. If the situation's right and the execution's right, and you spend it all and someone dies, I'm not saying that's optimal, but you gotta admit, if it's hard to pull off and it's dope and someone nails it, you gotta admit.
What is Zerms talking about?
Accessibility.
Especially if it's not easy to do.
Remember, I'm talking about accessibility right now for beginners right there. Obviously right there, obviously right there, we know basically how tons of death works right there and how people are optimized. Yeah. But I'm talking about basically in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, freaking hell, you can do an easy bread and butter combo, and that can almost freaking kill someone with 2 buttons.
Zoop is real.
Either Strider or Phoenix is already dead with one combo.
And then Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite right there, if a player, someone knows what to do right there, they can make the other player not even have a chance to play. That's because they can freaking do like that.
But that's the same way in fighters too. You have to set them up and do resets.
I know.
That's what they call Marvel, baby.
I know. But
Marvel.
What game are we discussing here?
No. I know what he's trying to get at. For example, if you do a basic combo in fighters compared to a basic bread and butter compared in Marvel 3, you're really not doing that much damage in comparison.
Yes, and also another thing too is that after a character gets KO'd right there in Dragon Ball FighterZ, the freaking neutral is reset, so that you don't freaking have a basically 300.
Oh yeah. You're not forced into a Okizeme situation.
Hold on. So is that something that you want to see in this new iteration of Marvel, reset neutral after?
I'm just giving examples about how if Marvel
a la KOF,
how Capcom is trying to do for accessibility. Let's take some ideas from Dragon Ball FighterZ and how their neutral do, because that will make it so that people will most likely play the game right there that has not touched a fighting game before. I'm just giving you.
But that's the reason why I was getting at for like the character like choices, right? Because a majority of people who play like Marvel vs. Capcom really don't want to like pick. Oh, I don't want to pick 3 characters. I just only want to pick a couple or just one and stuff like that.
I want Ryu Wolverine. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's like I only bought this game so I can play as Firebrand or whatever. I only bought this game so I can play as like Doctor Doom and stuff like that. I only bought this game because I just wanted to play as Phoenix, right? I mean, it doesn't have to like. If they focus on that, that's great. But it's like the thing is like, okay, if you're playing like just one character, you have like a little bit more life than usual to compensate for the fact you're only playing one character, and you're giving a little extra tools compared to like the team since you're only a one-man army and so on and so forth. If you have 2 characters, it's gonna be kind of like Marvel Infinite and BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, where you're just swapping in and out and just doing all this sorts of crazy stuff. And
so
then
one team gets active tag and one team doesn't.
That would actually hold on. That's actually
whoa.
Now that I'm thinking about it, like okay, so what if like you pick? What if it's like you're fighting like you yourself have 2 characters, right?
Yeah.
But then you have a stone, and then the other person has a 3 character system with the assists.
Yeah, and then one
That'd
man.
Be crazy.
Yeah, and then you have one character with a totally unique thing we've never seen.
That would be weird, man.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would love to see it.
I'm pretty sure that's what basically they have to do at this point in order to like stand up with the competition.
Don't let's not get all crazy. They don't have to do that.
I think they have to stick to the movie. I think that's the best bet for them.
What they have to do is they have to get the characters right. That's it. That's the only reason people buy these games is because they like the characters. And maybe they will include X-Men just for shits and giggles because everybody loves the X-Men. I mean, I don't care about it.
I don't know, man.
Like, everybody loves them and stuff. But that's the thing. That's why Dragon Ball Z sold so well, and other stuff. But mainly because it's Dragon Ball Z characters. You got Goku, Brawly, Bardock, like all these fan favorites. That's why people play this game. That's exactly what this new version of Marvel needs to get right. We need to see some new characters. We need to see the characters that we've been asking for forever. That's what we need.
Where's Daredevil? Where's War Machine?
All these rumors, like this.
I just want to see options for people. I just want to see like unique tag fighter where like depending, kind of like CVS2, where like your choice matters in the long run. And so on and so forth. I want to see that.
It matters in every tag fighter that we play.
But I want to see like them approach like a CVS2 kind of like approach to it, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
you can choose the way you want to play, like how that leak said, and that's basically what it is what I'm trying to see.
That might be too many options, though, man.
Yeah, not only that, but starting from the beginning, I think this would be more of like what I would want to see in the game after, this would be the game that, if you can make Marvel any way you want, and typically that's when these rumors are kind of like not so founded, like little like dream, like it's gonna be, like I said, is missing Vader. That's the only thing that like you could really, that list includes every single person from every single Marvel, including every character you wanted in the game ever. Like, okay, and then it's also 2v2 versus 3v3 versus 3v2, 2v2, 1-2.
It doesn't have to be everyone. It doesn't have to be everyone that's in the game. They just
What I'm saying is that, like, I've lived through Mortal Kombat rumors. I've lived through everything, and there's always these outrageous like. Dreamed like this is literally this particular rumor is not missing a single thing that any fanboys like ramped up to 11. It's unrealistic in my opinion, right? And even a engine of like that, like, really, do we really think Capcom's gonna I don't know, man. That's asking a lot.
It is asking a lot, but it still shows they're putting an effort. That's definitely, they're actually putting an effort.
Yeah, that's definitely in a different boat from what I was talking about earlier. In that, like, Combo Fiend works for Capcom, and this is like I can believe it, and like that's the part that makes it hard. Is it seems possible, where these seems like more of like long shot.
Like some of these things I do like, but I think like the character choice, like where you could like choose how many people you want on a team, like a la Ratio from CVS2. Would definitely be a neat thing. It doesn't need to have every single character or whatnot. But in terms of like the rumor, if the only thing that's true is you can choose how many or your play style or whatnot, you can choose how to play like Infinite or Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and then a new play style they created specifically for the 4th installment or whatnot. I think that'd work.
How about this for rumor? Marvel vs. Capcom 4 is going to be a 3D fighter. How about that?
But yeah, in the gist, at the end of the day, this is just a rumor. And
forward and backward rolling the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. 3D fighter with assists and stones. X as well.
And assist. Active tag and assist. Don't even front.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we're literally just going to find out whenever Capcom decides to tell us anything, which will be God knows when, since they've been dry with information from Marvel's.
Hopefully, I mean, I know y'all said that y'all don't want anything super soon, but I want something soon, man. I just want at least like at least
like a teaser, at least, you know.
Yeah,
I'd rather
poster like the way like in this little rumor thing where it has like the 4 and then the 2017. Yeah. Man, when I saw that, I was like, damn, bro, this is. I was hyped when I saw that, even though it was like fake.
I still want to make a shirt with that on it.
That whoever made that like really like hit it on the head with that freaking graphic because it looks sick. But I want
at this point, what I want, at this point, what I want, because I love Marvel and all the iterations that comes in. What I want them to do most is get it right and all the things that are within their power. So I think releasing it with the movie is within their power, because I think releasing it in not only aligning with the movie and timeline, but also in theme. I think that's brilliant. Making it as accessible as to many people possible. Like I'm thinking more of like a business, because all I do is want it to succeed. At the end of the day, I'm gonna play the crap out of it, just like I did for the last 4 of them. You know, whatever, all the way back. So at this point, I don't want what I specifically want in the game. Yeah. I want what's gonna make the game sell.
Yeah.
And a good net code. We need the same.
I mean, this good net code will definitely make the game sell. Like these kind of things. Yeah, for sure.
All I want Capcom Marvel like do now is just like make us, the fans,
they just need to restore hope. And I think they're just waiting. Man. They're just waiting for the right time. They're honestly just waiting for the right time.
I'm fine with them. I'm fine with them like taking the time with this. I don't want them to like watch this.
Yeah, I don't want them to force themselves into corner and then just make this their last attempt. Yeah.
Hey, here's the thing: if they put a weight in front of you guys right now, said, "Hey, you could wait till the next one comes out in like end of 2019, or tomorrow you have 6 more DLC for Marvel."
Oh my God! Don't even say
tomorrow though. And we're gonna steady start working on it more. Like you're gonna get next one in 3 months.
Bro.
I think it's too late.
No, like I'm not saying.
I think it's too late.
I'm saying for your own question on your own back.
I not want them to make any new characters for Infinite.
I think it's too late. Yeah.
Just because I feel like they would honestly fuck it up. Like
look,
I don't want Virgil to be so ugly. I don't want some crappy ass.
Yeah, let's be honest here. In terms of visuals, it needs to go. I get it.
Let's be honest here. If they were going to totally do that, they would have been upfront and center about it.
Yeah. I'm not even imagining it would happen. I was just placing it in front of you guys.
And they should give them out for free too. Like we're not.
Everyone shit on KOF 14.
Yeah.
Literally everyone. The game looked like utter trash.
Yeah.
It moved and looked like shit. But then they were slowly improving the game as time went on. Yeah. And eventually, as we got to the final product, which had like 50 plus characters. And they were still updating it. And now we're at like 3 seasons. They've added like 8 more characters in a game that already had 50.
Jeez.
And so on and stuff like that.
I don't think the next Marvel could afford that luxury of looking bad on launch, though. I think because of the hole that the last one dug, it can't just look great. It has to look phenomenal.
They gotta do a trailer like Marvel 3, like the crazy cinematic one for Marvel 3. That's what they gotta do to get
that was a great trailer.
Dude, that intro from the first vanilla Marvel, that was so nice. Oh my God. Like seeing all the characters just like facing off against each other and stuff, like in the little stills, that was sick, man.
Yeah, like you don't even need a story. Like that's the story. It's like that hype. Like I just want to play now.
Yeah, we just got. Well, now only time will tell. We'll just wait and see what happens with Marvel vs. Capcom 4, if it's a reality or not.
We will see next year, you know.
So Zerms, what do you think about wrapping up the Marvel discussion then? Think we should move on?
I think that basically I would definitely love to actually see what they're going to be planning on for right there. I'm going to be fine with if they go back to VB3 or stick with Marvel's Capcom, Marvel's Capcom Infinite type things.
As would I.
Yeah, same.
And I actually would want to see what they could do to improve the tagging mechanic if they're going with the tagging mechanic. Because I don't think they should go back to Marvel's Capcom 3. That's because of X Factor and that how broken the mechanic that it was right there. That mechanic was a very bad unbalanced mechanic, even though they did nerf it. It's still a bad mechanic.
What if somebody X Factors and then the other guy puts him in the stone? Like, I don't even want to see that. Like, what is that?
Yo.
Put him in the box.
I don't want to see that.
Yeah, put him in the box while he's in X Factor.
Oh my god. No. What if the box fucked themselves over and they can do an X Factor Infinite?
No. What if Verzo was back in the game, he freaking Devil Trigger shows up, then they boxed him. And the fucking then your opponent
Sondelight special. He does the Sondelight special with the fucking Space Stone. Just teleport back and forth with Sentinel assist.
No, wait. The freaking Verzo freaking, oh my god, Soul's up right there. They activate Soul, and you like just taunt the fucking Verzo because he literally cannot do anything about you.
Yeah.
That would be unholy. I wouldn't play that game.
That's the kind of game I want to see. I want to hear people say that.
Hey, right before we move on for food for thought, they did polls on Event Hubs, like what Marvel game mechanic would you like to see the most, and what as far as X Factor system or gem system, as far as 2v2 or 3v3. All of them were Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was the lead.
Are you okay?
So it's like, why would they change the one thing that people are loving about the game?
Wait, Jake, are you okay?
Yeah, I was hearing some weird crap right there.
Jake,
you're acting like he's playing like a piano or something.
Jaco, you acting up?
He's like, Jaco, you're cutting in and out, man.
Piano. Good guys.
Okay, yeah. So,
okay, there you go. Now you're good.
So basically, I just want to see what they can improve upon. Basically, my thing is that I would love to see what they can improve upon the formula, and hopefully see if there's anything in the future for this. Because obviously, I do prefer the 3v3 mechanic because obviously I want to drag more fighters for it right there. I actually did love it right there. But Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is still freaking a very fun game to play and watch. That's because how crazy the game gets right there, and also because you freaking how well some people block in the game, and the mix-ups in that game is so fucking so holy frick hard to block in some situations.
Yeah.
Honestly, all they need to do, make every character crazy.
Make them blocking, you know?
Okay, make every character crazy? Okay, Dante's broken again.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying the engine can't use tweaks, but the engine just kind of at its core, I think, is really done really well.
Yeah, definitely that.
I love the tagging mechanic too.
Yeah, dude, keeps the game pushing.
Yep.
So I guess that's it for Marvel. We just want to see something new.
Yeah. Hey guys. Yeah. So if we're moving on from the Marvel discussion, this is where I'm gonna have to take off. It's kind of late for me. I got work in the morning, so
it's all good, man. Because I can get the next sections pretty good.
All right, sounds good, man. Well, hey, I guess I will sign off. Zerms, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Shout outs to you guys, War Destroyer, Barzhad, and Jacob, man. It was a pleasure just having a little discussion with you guys about my favorite game, Marvel. You already know. This is TX Sven. Catch me at most of the gauntlets. I enter the gauntlets almost every Thursday. I'm usually commentating on Clash of the Stones with Jacob, man. So yeah, and I also got Twitter if y'all want to follow me on there. I don't really post a lot of video game stuff, but yeah. So yeah, thank you guys for having me. Y'all have a wonderful night.
Yep. See you.
All right, you take it easy, man.
All right, see y'all.
See y'all.
Have a great. See you, man.
All right, man.
All right.
Okay. Let's get on to the next topic right here. Basically, it's still on the rumor hill right now. Which this is
all about the rumors.
Yep, and this right here is future DLC for Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the same guy, Verb again right there, is back at it.
Yeah, Regiben.
Yep, and basically this is what he said for the DLC leak. Actually rumor. I love how I told people time and time again that former Bandai Namco employee who claimed all who contact me was openly discussed and doubted has since been proven false by actual sources of mine. Universe 3 in development, for instance, and those like Soul Calibur 6. Incorrect. People were still regurgitate it. I do know some Astro Season 2 info that I haven't posted here before in the same forums too. I will recap it. Zergen is part of it. Ultra Instinct Goku is also part of it too. No surprise there. Prior to the announcement of Super Dragon Ball Heroes anime, I heard that Super Saiyan 4 Goku would take part of Season 2, and Gotega would be part of it as well.
Gogeta.
Yeah. I've been hearing Gotega, but that's probably because
it's Gogeta.
With all the speculation about Gogeta being in the Broly movie has made so much sense after. Aside from those 4 characters, I heard that Season 2 would be bigger than Season 1, probably meaning 10 characters instead of 8 this time around. I haven't spoken to that old Reddit/Java source I had last year in a while, but I would not be surprised if those two are going to be part of Season 2 since they're adding more characters than Season 1 did. People have less room to bits about them, about taking up space the way that way it would fit the narrative that work is being done on them, but they got pushed out for 17 and cooler.
All right. So basically, what this rumor is basically trying to claim is that there is a Season 2 being in the works. I mean, which is basically obvious. The game's been doing incredibly well ever since its launch with the characters. Even though some of the character choices were like spotty, like people were like, "Why are base Goku and base Vegeta DLC?" and stuff like that. It's like you would expect them to be in the base game and whatnot, and so on and so forth. And then the last DLC being very odd choices, which were 17 and Cooler. But 17 was a very requested character. Cooler, I guess, was the same, but it obviously was very exciting to see Cooler at EVO doing all this crazy stuff, like his auto combo where he just chucks them, blows them up, and stuff like that, and whatnot, and so on and so forth.
Yep, and also Cooler planting a damn tree.
Yeah. And all that. Oh yeah, his command grab where he just like chucks like the orb at you and stuff like that, which is a counter and a command grab in the air.
Yes.
So they were obviously like just gunning for we can't have the last characters be Raditz and Zarbon because there's not a lot of fans for that character, and plus it would be a bad idea since they already released base Goku and base Vegeta prior, so it'd be kind of odd ending the season off with Raditz and Zarbon, because then people would be even more mad. I think people would be like much more pleased with Cooler, and especially 17, since people have been requesting for 17 ever since the game got revealed. Yes. With 18, after I think the 18 reveal trailer, along with 16, with no 17 in sight, since 17 was part of 18's move list, where you can control the some of her moves, I think her specials or whatnot. You can cause 17 to do an action, such as do some attacks, cause a barrier, punish assists and whatnot, and so on and so forth. So people immediately thought, oh yeah, he's not going to be playable, but then people saw the amount of Gokus that were in the game. We got normal Super Saiyan Goku, base Goku, Super Saiyan Blue Goku, and then Goku Black, if you want to count Goku Black, I guess. So yeah. So I guess that made up for it. But now, with Season 2, it kind of looks kind of funky because they're adding, like, technically 2 more Gokus. I don't know how people are going to feel about that. if that's the case. However, the first part does make sense. If they do add Ultra Instinct Goku along with Jiren, that makes total sense because those two characters were the most hyped up because people are like, oh, yo, Ultra Instinct is so sick, and it's like Goku versus Jiren is so hype and stuff like that. And when people were watching Dragon Ball Super, they were like really excited seeing what these two characters could do and what so on and what so forth. And so that makes sense. In terms of Super Saiyan 4 Goku, he's also a very fan favorite character. Even though he's not a Dragon Ball Z character by any means, he's always been in the Dragon Ball Z games in some way, shape, or form. You've always seen him in like the Budokai games, the Tenkaichi games, and all those crazy games that cater to the fans a lot. So it's not really surprising that you would see him, but it's kind of odd. Considering that the game already has a ton of Gokus to begin with, and so on and so forth, but then again, it makes you consider how many characters could they actually choose from the Dragon Ball roster, because people are really wanting other female characters, and so on and so forth. But the biggest thing in the room is Gogeta, because a lot of people are being really hyped up about the fact that Gogeta is supposedly in the new Dragon Ball Super movie. Which comes out this December, I think, in Japan, and January for in America, I'm pretty sure, or worldwide released in January, if I believe right. And they're hyping up the fact that Gogeta, which is a fan favorite character, goes back all the way to like the 12th movie, I think it was, Fusion Reborn or whatnot. And people were saying, yo, they really want to see Gogeta come with Janemba, another movie character, and whatnot. But the act of like the season 2 characters so far, Jiren makes sense. As much as I don't want to see a lot of Dragon Ball Super representation, and I want to see more unique characters that never get like shown before, like Raditz or Zarbon. It's kind of odd. We have like literally almost every Saiyan character except Raditz from the original Z series. Like we got Nappa and Base Vegeta. All they're missing is Raditz, in a sense, and so on and so forth. Jiren definitely makes sense since he's a fan favorite. Ultra Instinct Goku, people have been pleading for them to add him, so that makes total sense if he becomes a character. Super Saiyan 4 Goku is kind of where I'm drawing the line. I don't think he would be a thing, but if he's a thing, I'm totally A-okay with it. I'm just sure that the outrage is going to be pretty huge and saying, oh god, furry Goku. And it's like, well, more Gokus we have to add, and then they announce Gogeta right after. But in terms of the other leak about the Raditz and Zarbon thing, I'm pretty sure they're gonna go along with that since Zarbon and Raditz are pretty unique characters and it'll probably change up the way the game flows and whatnot. And in terms of other Season 2 stuff, I could see them adding way more things to the game considering how well the game did originally. So, yeah. In terms of how they play, like, Jiren's probably like another heavy type character like 16, cooler, and so on and so forth, where he does a lot of damage, but he's not as fast as other characters. Ultra Instinct Goku is probably more like Goku Blue in a sense where he's really fast character, but Ultra Instinct Goku is even faster than Goku Blue and just has some crazy dodging. Like the Ultra Instinct dodging where like they hyped up, oh yeah, he can dodge anything and stuff like that.
So I would say that he might have command dashes right there, or he has a counter
His reflect. Maybe his reflect would be unique where it's not a reflect and more so it's like a dodge.
So okay, yeah, unique reflect right there. That actually sounds really freaking.
Yeah, they'd probably do something like that where they make his reflect like a dodge or something or so forth. Where he, instead of like reflecting, he dodges, and it would be like kind of like Beautiful Joe's V dodge in a sense, right? Yeah, if you've seen that in Marvel 3.
Yes.
Like where he just phases through stuff, and then he can do an action right out of it, and something like that. Gogeta, actually no, wait, who was another character? Oh yeah, Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Super Saiyan 4 Goku would basically just be, I don't know how he would honestly work. They'd probably give him all the moves that Goku hasn't done so far in Fighters to that character, I assume. Because I know Ultra Instinct Goku is basically just going to be like kind of like a mix of certain characters in the game already, for the most part.
Yeah.
And then they're probably just going to give Super Saiyan 4 Goku Dragon Fist or whatnot to make him more unique, since that move isn't in the game and stuff like that. In terms of Gogeta, he's probably going to be really flashy, going to do a lot of flip kicks and look pretty stylish at the same time, because that's how he's portrayed in the original film. But very different compared to Vegeta. Very different compared to Vegeta. So he's going to be... It's not like a cop-out. It's like, oh, great, they're adding another fusion. It's like, no, he'd probably be, like, very unique in comparison to the other fusions. And with the whole Raditz and Zarbon has a transformation thing going on, so they could use that. And with Raditz, he's already built up a huge repertoire of moves that they can use due to him being in many video games to begin with, and so on and so forth. So how exactly would Raditz work is he's very projectile based, just like how Vegeta is, but it's much different. He has a variety of more beams than Vegeta does. Vegeta more so is like about the ki blast and stuff, right?
Yeah.
While Raditz has more of a varieties of beams than ki blast. So like for example, you see base Vegeta with like this he launches a ki blast at a weird like angle where it goes like in an arc and whatnot, while Super Saiyan Vegeta has a barrage of ki blast, which he can just spam, and also it's his assist, which is like one of the best assists in the game because of how long it is, how many hits it does, and how helpful it is for a team in general, and yada 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 and blah blah blah.
Yep.
But how legit the rumor is, well, just like the old rumor, this isn't the first Season 2 rumor. So I would still take this with a grain of salt, but honestly, the existence of Season 2 is probably a definite reality because they're definitely going to be supporting this game. Like we've seen from that recent trailer they revealed where they updated the game, showing off the new stage, which was the Galactic Arena, showing off, oh yeah, look at these new flashy ranks we have. You can attain in ranked battle now, so on and so forth, and look at these new Halloween costumes. And they've also stated that they're going to be showing more updates for the game in the long run. So odds are Season 2 is probably in the works or likely to happen. The characters I can't say for sure are going to be definite. But I'm pretty sure you'll see like Gogeta if he's in the movie, which comes out like this January for us. In terms of Super Saiyan 4 Goku, he's kind of the oddball in this league because while he is a popular character, he would stir a lot of controversy again, and people would be mad at the fact that, oh boy, it's another Goku.
Yeah, I actually want to say that. So, are people? Because I'll be quite honest. I'm not well versed in the Dragon Ball lore.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
So,
it's all good.
So are people? So when they're talking about, oh, I want this Goku in it, and I want that Goku in it. And is it kind of a conundrum where it's like, I want this Goku in it, but if you give me this Goku, then why are you giving me more Gokus?
It's more of the fact is people want different characters than Goku. People want to see like other Dragon Ball characters that haven't been represented, like Master Roshi and whatnot. Other villains like Turles. You probably don't even know who I'm talking about.
No. I mean, I barely know a little bit about early Dragon Ball when Vegeta was still a bad guy. Like,
People want like all these characters like Tao Pai Pai and all these obscure characters. But at the end of the day, a lot of people know Goku. They recognize who Goku is, and he's making a majority of the roster. I mean, but they do have a lot of unique characters. But I'm pretty sure the reason why they're adding these multiple Gokus in is because they can't do the normal Dragon Ball route where they're just a transformation. If that makes any sense. So they're adding them in because, like, for example, in like a normal Dragon Ball game, you only play as Goku, but you can choose to transform into these like states. You can choose to go into Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4, and so on and so forth. And in like a fighting game like this, they'll go like, well, we can't do that, so we're gonna have to make them their own unique character. And with some characters in this franchise have a lot of forms, especially Goku. Yeah, Goku has a lot of incarnations, and majority of them are in. Majority of the important ones are in, like Super Saiyan, normal state, the new blue state, If they add Super Saiyan 4, it makes sense because it represents a franchise of Dragon Ball that hasn't been represented in fighters so far. They've represented Z and Super, but they haven't represented original Dragon Ball and GT, which they usually end up doing. But yeah, that's like a major complaint some people have with the game, is because there's too many Gokus, and it's like, who else could we add? But then when you look at Dragon Ball, it becomes really tough because some of the other characters can't be that unique in comparison.
Yeah, I do find it funny. I mean, I do follow like some of the gaming news about it, where it's like, okay, more Gokus, and I just think it's funny that like even though there's so many, like people want, maybe possibly, like you said, there's 2 more that this rumor says are going to be in it. Those Gokus, like, yeah, people want these Gokus in it.
Yeah, people want these Gokus in. It's like, I'm one of them. I'd be cool if Super Saiyan 4 was in, but it's like, shoot, people are going to be mad. It's like some people even want Kid Goku, the kid version of Goku from the original Dragon Ball, where he used like the staff and whatnot.
Yeah.
And something like that. But yeah, in terms of I would not be surprised if they added like more Gokus in, because
I mean, and with the roster, like just the way it is, just the way the lore being like that, it almost like makes sense just to make a super huge roster for a game like this. Just keep pumping them in.
And it's growing like that because they're going to be supporting the game for like God knows who long. So it might end up like that for all we know. But yeah,
if you're gonna have room for the characters everyone wants, the niche characters, and people are just in love with these different forms, you kind of need a beast roster. You can't.
Because the problem is, while Goku has many forms and states as well, so do other characters. Like
they're all clogging up slots.
Yeah, like for example, his son Gohan. There's a kid version of him, and then there's the grown-up version of him in the game. So there's 2 Gohans, and now people want like a 3rd version of Gohan. Like there was another version of Gohan that was in the future with Trunks, because to explain, like Trunks is from the Trunks, like you see the grown-up Trunks with the sword. He's from the future, and the Gohan that people want is from Trunks' future.
It's mad specific.
Yeah, precisely.
That's mad specific, but like this is like the popular character.
Yeah, this is the it's the fan base. It's because like this version of Gohan is really cool because he only has 1 arm and he chucks people around, shoots out kamehamehas with 1 hand and stuff like that.
I see.
So it's like people want to see like more Vegetas too. It's like there's already like 3 of them and stuff like that.
Does any character have? I mean, I know they're going with different characters for the forms, but does any character have like install type supers? Any of them?
Install type supers in fighters.
Yeah, like does anyone power up in a way that like transforms them, but they don't have 2 characters for it?
Yes, actually, Frieza, which is the main villain from Namek, who's like the dude with like the purple head,
the white and purple dude.
Skin.
I know he is.
Yeah. So basically, he has this install super, which is referencing his movie, which was really popular. I'm pretty sure you've heard of it, which was Resurrection F.
Yeah.
Which did really well in the States and Japan, well, in the world in general. It was like one of the main reasons why Super became a thing.
Yeah, it's almost that was kind of at the height of the DBZ stuff. Like,
that's basically what revived it.
Yeah.
And so basically, his install is basically his new form, which is basically just him with a golden color palette. Yeah. Basically, the white skin just changes to gold. And he basically gains access to new stuff. Like he's able to what's it called? Reverse speed. He's able to do like heavy into like medium into light.
Buff him up,
Yeah, he can dash cancel or whatnot and all this crazy. Yeah, he gets like 2 air dashes and like all this funky stuff. Gohan, the adult version of Gohan has like that, but his install is different where it's permanent. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But it's not that unique from what it is. Like he has 7 installs basically. It kind of like Frank West actually. Kind of like how Frank West takes pictures and after like you take a couple pictures he levels up.
Yeah.
It's the same principle except you don't have to take pictures. All you have to do is spend 1 bar to get 1 level essentially.
Yeah. I see.
And he has 7 levels in total, and the max bars you can have in the game is 7. So if you have the meter, you can actually dump all your bar to get to level 7, where he's like really buff character and whatnot. But you're never gonna see that because
it's impractical. Yeah, it's very impractical. Yeah.
Yeah, very impractical. but it's very unique. So I think those are the two characters with installs. Base Goku was going to have an install a la Kaioken, but then that's what we thought it was going to be, where he's going to be buffed, but he's going to do a ton of damage. But no, instead it's more of like Rekka series, like Iron Fist, where you can cancel specials into another special. If that makes any sense, where he stuns you, and then does like the kicks into like the palm where he knocks you down, and then to super. With Kaioken, Goku gets like 7 follow-ups, or like 5 follow-ups, or 3 follow-ups, depending on the characters. Like if he's like the only character, he gets 7 follow-ups he can do with 1 bar. And then if he's like 2 characters left, he only has 3. And if there's only 1 character left along with him, he has 5 follow-ups he can do with 1 bar of meter, and so on and so forth. So yeah, in terms of like the other characters, how unique they can be, it's pretty tough to like say. Like Ultra Instinct Goku can definitely work. Jiren is definitely like fan favorite, so they're just gonna add him in and just try to make him unique as possible, since he's very recent. So there's not a lot to work with him. Super Saiyan 4 Goku, they can definitely do a lot of things with that character, though it's gonna be very hard to see what they can actually do, since there's so many Gokus in the game already. It's kind of hard to see what else they could do with Goku. And Gogeta is basically a new character along with like Jiren, so he's gonna be like pretty refreshing for a lot of people. In terms of like other characters they could add, though, it's very like going niche specific. It's like a lot of people want to see like these movie villains, like these villains from like these old movies. Like they want to see Lord Slug, they want to see like Turles, or they want to see Android 13, or they want to see Tapion from movie 13. The dude basically Tapion was basically like Dragon Ball Z Link. That's basically what he was.
Yeah. Man, I mean, the series going that long with movies.
Yeah, they have a lot of characters. Yeah, they have a lot of characters. A lot of people want, like, for example.
The roster. I mean, even though this is the first Versus style game, their rosters were known for being kind of OD, right? Like just.
Yeah,
like
even though there's
characters, so many, like something like that.
Even though like the roster is pretty small for fighters, overall, I'm pretty sure like this is like a good starting point. Like,
if they're supporting the game and adding characters, then it's definitely.
They already have characters that people would not be expecting to see in this game. They have Yamcha. People did not expect to see Yamcha or Tien, but they're in the game, and so on and so forth. They even have Nappa. People thought Nappa wasn't even going to be in the game, but he's a thing. And,
I don't want to sound too rookie, but who was the dude that had no powers, but he had a backpack and he like?
Oh, that was Hercule. Hercule. Surprisingly,
I'd want to see in the game.
Yeah, surprisingly, he's not in. And I'm actually surprised they never put him in the game, because he's probably one of the characters that I was expected to see. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure you're gonna see him in like a later update or whatnot if they do it. But yeah, the majority of the sense is Season 2 is gonna happening. Character choices are either gonna be pretty controversial, like they were in Season 1, like Vegito, Zamasu.
More Gokus.
More Gokus. Maybe more Vegetas. Maybe more Gohans. Who knows? Maybe it might be another version of a character, whatnot. Who knows? Like, it'll be pretty controversial with the characters. Who knows? Maybe they might add costumes for the characters, because a lot of people really want to see costumes for certain characters. Like, they want to see Gohan wearing his Great Saiyaman outfit, and they want to see Krillin wearing casual wear and stuff like that. People want that kind of
casual wear, for sure, dude. I can see that.
And stuff like that.
Hey, so just to kind of go more off the rumors, there's nothing that's been said about that would
there's nothing substantial.
No.
That's really big.
What I'm trying to ask is that there's nothing that hints that they're not doing an update or anything. Like it's not in any position even near Marvel, right? This is more of like because Marvel's like, dude, it's been such a long shot, looking so dire. But I know Dragon Ball is doing really well.
Marvel is like. They've been silent, but Dragon Ball has been hinting at it. They did this new trailer, right, where they showed this is a new update with Season 1 finally complete. Here's what we've added. We've added this new stage for you to enjoy. It was basically like a space tournament.
And they called it Season 1 and all of that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's dope. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they've been calling it season. Like, the season is over. Finish. This is the end of season.
But that's alluding to another season.
Like, and then at the end, they said we'll go over any future updates as they come, which means they're going to be
something happening. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I just want to know. I just want to know what the spot is. What spot it was in as far as people hoping for it to come out. You know, but I mean, I'm in the same boat as you. I would be surprised if they didn't rack this to season 3 as long as the money keeps coming in.
The state of Dragon Ball right now is we know they're going to be doing updates for the game, but we don't know if they're going to be sticking with season 1 or actually planning on continuing with the season 2.
Yeah.
But right now, the support for the game is there, and it's still going strong.
Word. Agreed.
Yeah. So that's basically Dragon Ball state right now. So like the characters you can take with a grain of salt. Like for example, Jiren and Ultra Instinct Goku, probably in the game. Honestly, if I'm judging by character popularity, a lot of people really love Ultra Instinct Goku, and a lot of people really like Jiren. So I would not doubt it. And if Gogeta was in the new movie, I'd expect to see Gogeta too. I'd be totally surprised if they added in Super Saiyan 4 Goku, but equally happy at the same time. But yeah, that's all I'm expecting. In terms of Raditz and Zarbon, they're probably in the game too, and I'm pretty sure most people are going to be happy, like making their dream teams. Yo, finally I can have Raditz, Nappa, and Vegeta on one team, or I can finally have Goku, like father, son, and son on a team. I can have Bardock, Goku, and Raditz, and stuff like that. Or like, yo, I can have the Frieza team. I can have the Ginyu Force, Frieza, and Zarbon, and stuff like that. And so on and so forth. So I'm pretty sure they're going to be going ham.
Ginyu Force theme team should have like custom animation. Something.
I mean, who knows? Maybe they might go ham. Like they might do unique intros.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if they start
add more of those in,
that would be legit. If they made like, that's what I'm saying, like theme teams and stuff that's unique to them. Like
because they already have
cinematic supers or something. Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, there's already some of them in there, but we're probably gonna see way more. But yeah, that's the stage Fighter is in. It's pretty much in a good spot. It's not like in a spot where Marvel is, where like we're kept in the dark, the closet's closed, we don't know when it's opening ever again, and so on and so forth. So right now, like Fighters is going strong. So I would not be worried at all with what direction that game's going in. So yeah. That's the stage Fighter is in right now. For the rumor, take it with a grain of salt because for all we know, this could be fake, but the reality of Season 2 is definitely a possibility to begin with, so there's that.
Okay, so let's go to the next portion of this thing right here, which is Soul Calibur 6.
A Tale of Swords and... whatever.
What's Soul
Swords
Calibur,
and Souls. Yeah,
Soul Calibur 6 is the successor to the Soul Calibur series, which is a 3D,
it's a 3D fighting game made by Namco Bandai, specifically a subdivision in Namco Bandai called Project Soul, which is solely the Soul Calibur team, kind of like Tekken has their own team for Tekken.
Yes.
And so on and so forth. It's basically an example. It's a 3D fighting game where, unlike any other fighting game, instead of using your fists to do the fighting, you have weapons. So it's one of the I believe it's probably the first weapon-based fighter to begin with. Well, at least 3D. One of the major first 3D fighting games to feature like weapons as the main form of combat, and so on and so forth. So basically, Soul Calibur 6 is the long-awaited 6th installment of the franchise. The game's been going it's been on and off, but it's definitely a popular game for everyone. It's popular among competitive players and casuals alike. And the game itself has always been the same for the most part. It's always been a system revolving around its movement system. Well, not at first, but people don't like to refer to the first game as part. Well, okay. I'm just gonna cover Soul Calibur 6. If I cover every single game, we're gonna be here forever. So basically, the gist of Soul Calibur 6 is the system it works with in comparison to other 3D fighters is the movement. In comparison to Tekken, where movement is a thing you have to master, in Soul Calibur it's a much easier tool to latch on. Because if you move up, you just move up. If you move back, you move back. If you move down, you move down. It's the 8-way run system. So you can move in all 8 directions. Whatever you hit on the joystick, you will move in that direction. And that's how the movement works in the franchise. and it's very consistent, it's very smooth. It's very much appealing to casuals in comparison to Tekken, where you have to double tap in order to sidestep, double tap up or double tap down, and so on and so forth, or double tap forward and back.
And that's retained in this one.
Yep, that's retained.
Nice.
All that easy movement is all there, except there's like one minor issue where actually that's specific. I'm not gonna go into the specifics. I'm just gonna play the general basic stuff. But in terms of the actual system, they like have a really good layout. In terms of attacking, you have horizontal attacks. Horizontal attacks usually cover, what's around you. So it covers like the space where people could sidestep up or down, and so on and so forth. Then there's vertical attacks. Yeah, vertical attacks, which is basically moves that are like only focusing on one area that's in front of them and not like covering an area around them. So those moves are able to be stepped or like get out of the way of, and so on and so forth. Then characters have a generic kick, which also works as both. It can either be horizontal or just vertical move. And then there is just a guard button where if you hold it, you can guard because and that's appealing to casuals since you don't have to worry about holding back or down back. All you have to do is hold a button to guard standing and then crouch if you want to crouch lows and so on and so forth. And that's basic gist of Soul Calibur. You're basically just playing a 3D fighter, moving around, trying to cover your space, and eventually just get the round. And the pace of Soul Calibur is very fast in comparison to other fighters, since the combo game in Soul Calibur is this is very important. Combos are not that prominent in Soul Calibur as compared to like Marvel vs. Capcom, Street Fighter, even Tekken. Combos are like very short strings. There's like only like 2 or 3 hits. Usually in like a Soul Calibur combo or a practical Soul Calibur combo. Recently, as you know, I don't think anyone knows this, but a player or like a very I wouldn't call him but basically this guy who plays video games called Clayton Chapman just recently revealed or just uploaded a Soul Calibur 6 video where he does this crazy long combos and stuff like this. And they're ridiculous, and some of them even like do a one touch of death. It's like no one has ever done in the game.
I mean, I'm sure if you play Street Fighter 5, there's this guy named Desk. There's always that guy that's just gonna be like, these are the guys that like
these are
play test the game for us, like find the stuff that get out of the way.
They know their stuff, but the stuff Clayton was doing, even he himself stated that you'd usually never like be able to do this stuff. Like while these are real, you'll never find a way to get into the situation to do these combos properly.
Yeah, it's almost like those weird like glitchy combos where it's just like, you can do it, but is it ever really pop off mid-match enough to affect the meta of the game? Like not really.
It's not more that it's glitchy. It's more the fact that you're never going to be able to perform that combo because the situation is so specific. You have to follow a complete set of rules in order to force it to happen. And these combos can be like you can escape those combos too. So they're technically not real, but they're still like real, if that makes sense.
Yeah, he's just showing some kind of high level stuff that could potentially body someone.
Yeah, just push the limits of the game and stuff like that, just to show like something. Oh yeah, you can do this in game, and it's really cool. But the gist of how the combo system works in games usually is you can just launch them, you just do a string, and that's it. And then you can hit them on the ground if you are close enough, and that's basically the gist of Soul Calibur. It's literally just
like a spacing hits. Yeah, that's cool. Would you say it's like an entry level 3D or one of the easier fees to enter, easier ticket price there?
Yeah, it's definitely very easy to jump in and start doing a lot of cool stuff, especially with what they've added in terms of new stuff in the game, which I'll get to shortly. But it's definitely one of those easier fighters to get into and it's like very well designed, so the game still doesn't lose what it's known for. It's complexity as well.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so on and so forth. But yeah, in terms of what they added new, this also helped. Like the new stuff they added also really helps beginners in a sense. For the first time, well, not the first time. This is the second time in the franchise's history. Well, yeah, the second time in the franchise's history where they added a meter system to Soul Calibur.
like a super or some kind of like
yeah, you can do
something
super.
spend. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, every character in the game has an install and a super.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, with the install, characters gain access to new tools they're never normally able to do. Like maybe they have access to like new moves or new combo tools and so on and so forth, where they can do like crazy damage and so on and so forth. And that's basically the gist of it. Like for example, Keelik is very unique because his install looks like an actual install as he transforms into a brand new form. Like he like takes off like this like belt on his chest or like the strap on his chest, and then like his hair goes all over the place. He starts glowing with like this purple aura and has tattoos all over him, and he has access to like a couple of new moves and so on and so forth. He has a new throw, and then even his super is different. He can also gain access to a different super compared to his normal super in his normal state, and so on and so forth. And they're really helpful for casuals since the install is invincible. Right as you click it, and all it is 3 buttons. It's just the horizontal, the vertical, and the kick, and back at the same time. And then that's how you activate the install.
And it gets you like out of block stun or out of frames, or
yeah. Well, it doesn't get you out of like, let's say for example they do like a mini block string, like block strings in Soul Calibur, they're not like let's say for example Street Fighter where you do like light, like where you're crouching and doing light, and like just continue to do that and so on and so forth. Strings are like, since you're using a weapon, you really can't do that. So there's like a bit of a delay between each strike.
Yeah,
basically. So
there's like room to interrupt and stuff or dodge out.
Yeah. So step out or like parry and whatnot, and so on and so forth to make it like interactions like worth something. It's like you're not just gonna autopilot and keep on doing this. I'm just gonna like parry you or just gonna move out of the way if you keep on doing this, or like duck, and so on and so forth. But basically, the good thing about the install is the soul charge. You do back plus the 3 buttons I said, horizontal, vertical, or kick, which are known in the game as A, B, K. And then once you do that, you enter a mini animation. Then the animation ends, and basically you perform like this little mini explosion that pushes the opponent away from you, kind of like resetting neutral in a sense. If I had to explain it, I'd explain it like the burst system, kind of like Guilty Gear or Blaze Blue in Marvel Infinite. Like I forgot the mechanic. It's like you use like 2 bars to like snap into the other character or whatnot when you're getting comboed. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but yeah, something like that, essentially, where you just like get out of a situation.
You can do it while you're getting hit?
Well, not precisely. It's not exactly like that, but you can use it like that. It's like a reversal, essentially. Like a reversal. Yeah. Just like, and the supers are also reversals too. And they're also helpful for beginners since the reversals, or as they're known, the supers in the game, if you hit them raw, they do a ton of damage. And some of them even can track, too, depending on what kind of super it is. And some of them can be even made unblockable, and some of them are even command grabs and stuff like that, and so on and so forth. So it's pretty varied. And all you have to do the super is do A, B, K all together. Just 3 buttons and boom, you can do the super.
Oh, I see. I mean, it makes sense in a game that has like 8-way movement. You're not going to have commands that mess with your movement as much,
Yeah, some characters do have like cortical movements and some odd, weird command list things. Like for example, Ivy has this weird ass command for one of her throws that if a casual looks at it, they go like, what the heck? It's like, why is this even a thing? And so on and so forth. But it's more of like that's been there, but you really don't need to do it. But it's helpful if you do it. It's like it's an option, but it's like, okay, it's a hard option, so take the time to learn it, and once you got it, there you go. You're good to go. Some characters have that, but they tried to standardize the moveset, so it's much easier. So it's like moves are literally just A, B, 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 or just K, and then depending on the direction you can do forward, down, up, or back, or you can double tap them to get a different move, and so on and so forth. And so the move list aspect of the game is really easy to get into compared to like Tekken, because there's much more fewer options in comparison, because Tekken has like this long list that just scrolls down and just keeps on going, while Soul Calibur is kind of very tame in comparison.
Yeah. I mean, I'd imagine it focuses on different aspects of fighting in general, just because of the weapons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some characters are very fast because of their weapons. Like Raphael has a rapier, so he's very quick on his feet, and his weapon's really fast too. Some characters like Nightmare and Sif Creed are like tanks. Their sword's really big, so they're really slow, but they can like dish out a lot of damage because of how strong their weapon is.
Yeah.
So on and so forth. So yeah, that's definitely a factor. And thoughts of general of how the game is. So far it's looking really good. Like for a launch game, this is actually really good. Every character's very unique and doesn't seem to have any major flaws that would make them like unplayable or like very like unviable or so on and so forth. And it's like every character has something that has they have going for them in a sense. And oh man, I just remembered the major mechanic they made for this game, and I just completely forgot about it. Reversal Edge. Basically, what Reversal Edge is basically a mechanic they added in for beginners. And basically, what this thing does is you just have to click what's his face? You have to click vertical button, which is B, plus guard, and the character will enter an automatic state where they have armor or some kind of armor where they can tank like 1 or 2 hits, and they can force like a rock paper scissors situation. But it's not really rock paper scissors, since you don't have 3 options. You have like a lot of options. You have like 7 options in total, which you can do in this state. So think of it like kind of like TAC, but not as strong as TAC from Marvel 3.
Yeah.
But basically, it's very unique. Basically, like you have horizontal, you can do vertical, you can do kick during this day, you can guard even, you can even move. You can even choose to just move and not do an attack at all. And so on and so forth. And this mechanic is very strong because each character has a unique reversal edge mechanic. For example, Yoshimitsu, if you counter a move with a K, like if you do reversal edge K with Yoshimitsu, against someone who does like reversal edge vertical to get out of the way or whatnot. Oh yeah, this is how it works. It's like horizontals clash, horizontals verticals, horizontal beats verticals, and so on and so forth. It's like there's like a chart that literally lists every single options and which could beat it. But to give an example, let's say one character does a vertical, and the other character, which is Yoshimitsu, does a K. Basically, once the animation's over, Yoshimitsu will basically rush you, stab you, and then take out your soul, or whatever it is. And what that does is, when he takes out the soul, he basically gains a little bit of meter. That's just like his whole gimmick. Like if you do a certain move with Yoshimitsu, you'll see like this orange like aura come out of the opponent, and if you absorb it, you'll get more meter. And that's like the basic gist of it. With other characters, like for example Astaroth, who has this like big ass, if you hit them with a horizontal, not a horizontal, a reversal edge vertical move, if you hit them, basically if you're on a stage that has no walls, you can basically ring them out from almost anywhere on the screen, almost. Because what he does is, when he hits you with the vertical, he hits you, then slides you and tosses you across the stage. And it leads to pretty wacky situations. And also, if you end up clashing in reversal edge, you'll have to do it again. Unlike TAC, where if you both guess right, it just ends the situation entirely, right?
It just it resets it.
Yeah, it just resets it. Basically, if you clash once, you'll do a second round and try to see who would win again. If the second one leads to a clash, then it just ends.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically the gist of it. Current thoughts on the meta: some characters are seem really good, while other characters are still really good. So yeah, the game's shaping up really well for a game series which usually has a lot of broken stuff in it. In terms of what the casual aspect is mainly seeing is the character customization because, oh god, that thing is nuts. Have been character creations such as Magikarp. People literally, people literally making. Yeah, I'm pretty sure some of you have seen the Magikarp tweet, and people literally making penises or dicks, putting them onto character. I'm not kidding. This is real. You can literally make a dick and put it on your character.
Oh, the internet.
Yeah, it's great, right? But in terms of other things, like the variety is really great because with Soul Calibur character customization, you can go really ham and like make characters from other like franchises. Like I've seen people make Gordeau and Ruby from Cross Tag Battle, in Soul Calibur 6, and I've seen people make Kingdom Hearts characters in Soul Calibur 6. I've seen people make Blaze Blue characters in Soul Calibur 6, and so on and so forth. It's like it's crazy. It's crazy. People even made Perfect Cell in Soul Calibur 6, and it just goes on and on. Like I wouldn't say the options are endless, but you can be really creative with the customization in Soul Calibur in comparison to Tekken. But other than that, the game is shaping up to be a really good game. In terms of its season pass, the only character we know of is Tira, which is a character from Soul Calibur 3. Technically, I guess she's part of a season pass. I really don't know because they said she's a bonus with the game day one DLC. But if you buy the season pass, you get her free. So I don't know. So yeah, I guess she's a season pass character. But other than that, we don't know who else is going to be DLC for the season pass. We can only just wait and see. But oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I guess the main reason why people are going to be buying this game is because of the guest character, which is The Witcher. Geralt. Yeah, he's the, as you can tell, tradition from Soul Calibur. Ever since 2, there's always some sort of unique guest character in the game. Soul Calibur 2 was a unique where it had 3. It had Heihachi from Tekken, Spawn from Spawn, and then Link from Legend of Zelda. Soul Calibur 3 had no guest character, but that's just because stuff happened. With Soul Calibur 4, you had stuff like Yoda, Darth Vader, and a Starkiller from The Force Unleashed. And then I think 5 had Ezio from Assassin's Creed, and now we're at Soul Calibur 6 with The Witcher.
That's a pretty good tradition for any game to have. Just bring in something new.
Yeah, just bringing someone new, and it works from what I've seen. It does work. A lot of people I know bought like some Soul Calibur just based on like who was in it. Like I know a lot of people who bought Soul Calibur 4 just because it has Star Wars characters. I know people who bought Soul Calibur 5 just because Ezio was in it. And I think the same goes for this game. A lot of people bought it because Geralt was in it.
I mean, I'm a little older. I'm a little older, but I remember the hype over Spawn and Link.
Yeah.
In the game.
I'm honestly surprised
like
you didn't get.
It was like unique per console, right? Like this console had this console had this one. This console had this one.
For Soul Calibur 2, yeah, that was the case. I'm surprised you didn't get DJ Vest for this, Jaco. He's like the Soul Calibur whiz. That man made like top 8 for Soul Calibur 2. So I'm kind of sad you didn't get have him for this, or if he was even able to make it. That is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been playing the game and it's been great so far. I'm obviously not that big of a huge expert. I mean, I played all the games in the series, but I've never, had like too much of impact on me. Like I played the first 3 and then I barely touched like 4 and 5, and now I'm finally playing an actual Soul Calibur after so long, because I've only like the last 2 I really didn't play at all, and so on and so forth. So my thoughts there are kind of iffy. But other than that, yeah, Soul Calibur 6, really good game. If you like character customization, you want to mess around with that, it's for you. If you want to have an easy fighting game just to play with friends, it's also for you. So you got the best of both worlds, and it's also got a crazy long story mode to boot. So if you're a guy like that who likes a story mode and fighting games, well, there you go too. Soul Calibur 6 is a really good pickup.
Yep. Okay, so let's go to the next final main section right there, which is basically it was announced earlier last week that they're gonna drop a patch to fix the input delay for Street Fighter 5. basically what the input delay is basically in how the game works. There's a delay of when you press a button right there and when it goes through,
it'll come out in the game.
Come out in the game, yes. And basically, it's known for in Dragon Ball and Street Fighter 5 having a very long input delay. At high level, input delay is a very huge factor on how you can react in this game.
For a fun thing to know, that's the reason why a lot of people do not prefer to play online, as there's a lot of input delay due to the connections being played so far, which is why people see online play as an unviable option.
Yes, because basically the input delay based on the engine right there, I believe it was around 8 frames of delay.
It was like 7.9 technically, but it was basically 8. It was basically 8.
Yeah, basically that means that in a game where basically how fast your frame moves,
the fastest move.
Yeah,
it's a game where the fastest move is 3 frames, but you have an 8-frame delay. So if you add 8 to 3, you basically be getting a move that comes out
in 11 frames.
Yeah, 11 frames later.
Yeah, so basically because of that, people are unable to properly punish or anti-air properly.
Or properly play footsies, even though technically footsies, that's one of the main reasons why footsies isn't like possible or wasn't possible in Street. Well, actually, I can't even say it. You can't properly play the game.
You cannot play.
It allows them to not properly play Street Fighter 5.
Yeah, because basically the only people that can properly play footsies right there are the highest level players, when they can actually are able to react or basically know what's going to come from the game to actually
but then they tried to fix it earlier. Before this fix, they tried to fix it, and it was supposedly fixed, but somehow someone actually did a little digging to see how the game worked. I don't even know why I know this, but I know this. But someone did a little tinkering to see what the actual delay was after their patch, but surprisingly, it was changing constantly. Like the delay was like shifting from 4 to 5 to 6 back to 7.
That sounds like some old Street Fighter 2 stuff, like some variable conditions.
Yeah, a variable exactly. That was actually it. The crazy part about it, it's on a cycle. Right as you start the game, after like a couple seconds, the input delay will automatically shift from 4 to 5. After a couple seconds, they'll shift to 5 to 6, and then after a couple seconds, it'll kindly return to its original state.
So not only did they randomize it, but they didn't randomize it truly. They randomized it based on a cycle in the program.
It's a cycle. Like, what is that? Cycle. Yeah, I have no idea why they would do that. And then
sounds like
when
a
you go
glitch
to 7,
or an error. That's absurd.
You go to 4. And this is the main problem, is with this like variable system, you can't properly, like many people, even top players, I guess I would consider, can't properly play the game because the game is constantly in flux, changing. Like let's say for example, you're playing on 4-frame delay, and then a situation happens, and then it instantly changes to 5-frame delay, or 6-frame, or 7-frame, right? That like that change causes like a situation to like be like, kind of faulty or and cause like weird situations to occur. Basically.
Yeah, we've moved on from that patch, right? That's not what they're patching out this time, right? We've already patched that.
Nope. Yeah. No, that's been a thing. This is what they're patching out, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah. This is what they're patching, and I'm pretty sure.
Basically, we don't know anything else for the patch at the moment besides that, and also new costumes. Basically, the major thing is that the input delay is getting reduced. We don't know how much, because they haven't revealed it.
They haven't revealed how much they're actually going to bring it down. But my guess is probably going to be 5 or 4.
Is it currently still on that variable frame system at the moment?
Yes, it is.
Wow,
it's been on there for like a long while, long while.
Whether they get rid of frames or not, just some consistency on that I would deem even like the most mandatory change they would need to make. That's kind of absurd.
And the funny part is, a lot of people are saying the only reason why they're doing this change is because the game is finally coming to arcades.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah. Also, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Finally, after like 3 or 4 years, Street Fighter 5 is actually an arcade game, which we can't play because arcades are dead in America. So, I mean, why does it matter? It's pretty important. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty important for the Japanese community since they mostly play their games in like an arcade area for the most part, or at least that's how it was. But even that's kind of dying down now too.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has more of a console only. Yeah, it definitely has more of a prevalence. But I mean, just some quick thoughts on Street Fighter 5 itself. I never thought the input delay. So first of all, if a game's gonna have decent netcode, the game offline has to have delay. It has to. That way, when you play online, they take the delay off and the natural delay kicks in. You know what I mean? Like so.
They make up for it. Yeah.
Yeah, so they have to have that buffer if it's going to have decent or good online netcode. So
that's actually what Tekken does, by the way. Yeah. That's actually what Tekken does.
Yeah, so in terms of a game having real, I want it to have zero possible days if your game's going to be on the internet. You know what I mean? So so I think Street Fighter 5 got a lot of flack for that. And people like, oh, it has 8 frames delay. Like, they have to have some delay. Now, whether 8 is too much or not, that's a whole different discussion. But
the problem with that was
people are blowing it out of proportion in that, like, now the game's unplayable or it's broken.
No,
it's like, no, it's
just... The problem with it was one reason. The netcode for Street Fighter 5 is actually horrible.
Yeah. I'm more of that. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, I think it's just, I think somewhere it's unrealistic to have it go to 0, like taking me back to that. And people's eyes honestly wouldn't even be used to it. I mean, it sounds optimal, but it's actually unrealistic to the human speed of like eye-hand-eye coordination.
It was only like 1 or 2, like for the most part. It was usually either 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah,
along those lines.
With that said, I mean, you made some comments earlier. I disagree that you don't have footsies or you can't have footsies.
I was trying to like find something to, but that just lies in the problem.
It definitely changes the neutral game. Yeah, as far as what you could whiff and what you could punish, and it's very drastically different.
I think the better way to explain is how it works, how the delay works for Street Fighter 5 in general, and how moves in Street Fighter 5 are designed in general. Because some of these moves are kind of bad.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that means the game just takes an emphasis away from reaction and is more of an anticipation fighter. Granted, you still react to things. You know, people exaggerate. You still react. You can still show people. You just can't do it at the last frame because there's going to be a delay. But you know, a jump is like 40. It's a jump an absurd amount of frames, right? Like so. Yeah. Well, you know.
Some people are still mad at the fact that DPs are no longer a meterless resource for some characters. Like traditional Shoto characters do not have invincible DPs. They have to use DX, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Like that was like one of the recent changes, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. I mean, I get they wanted to normalize where your meter is your DP. So if you don't have meter, that's tough luck. And I understand that change. Yeah. I said, like not everything that's different about Street Fighter 5 is necessarily worse or makes
it's not necessarily bad. But I mean,
and like I said, like the point I made earlier is like I don't want to say there's a dumbing down, but there's definitely an accessibility trend happening that's really heavy in Street Fighter 5.
Yeah. They're trying to make it so that the game promotes aggression.
Yeah. People want to hit buttons.
They want you to be the aggressor.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is they don't compensate with defensive options in the game. Because the defensive options in Street Fighter 5 are utter trash. Like
they're lacking. They're definitely lacking.
Yeah, like V reversal is why would you even do V reversal when like characters like Laura can bait that and you get punished hard for just like using that resource to escape. And it's like, why would you even do that then? What's the point of using V reversal and like so on and so forth? That's just one example I can think of because I remember watching this Laura. I don't remember who it was. This character does V reversal, and what does Laura do? Command grab the V reversal.
Yeah, that's definitely I don't know if it's a problem with the engine as much as it's probably an OP move. That's pretty absurd though. This is like you can't. No,
other characters can do that
for trying something.
Other characters can do that too. It's not just Laura. That's the crazy part. Some V reversals are just horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so on and so forth. So when the aggressor is just going ham, like, and plus, like, they just took out defensive options for some characters. Like, let's say, for example, Ryu. Ryu's not that good of a character in Street Fighter 5 to begin with, right?
Agreed.
Yeah, so basic, yeah, which is the general consensus. So now they basically locked him away from one of his defensive options, and he has to have meter in order to do it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Taking away the Shoryu was huge because now characters that had invincible wake ups are no longer unique. Now everyone has it, and yours that you thought is the same price as everyone else's now.
Yeah.
Like I understand it's gonna change the balance of the characters drastically. Yeah. Obviously, Ryu and other characters that Ken that enjoyed really good Shoryus, now they're not nerfed, but everyone else is buffed to have a Shoryu.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely gonna be a change of even gameplay styles now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the whole problem I think with Street Fighter 5 or with well, in my opinion, is it doesn't in my opinion at least doesn't feel like traditional Street Fighter, and I hear that term thrown out a lot.
That's very true.
But it's like the problem with saying that traditional Street Fighter is that differs because every Street Fighter has always been different.
Yeah, parrying and everything. Yeah, straight up.
Like from the first game, the second game, the third game, the fourth game, the fifth game, they're all different. There's never been a consistent style.
People like playing what they know, and I think that always lends to people thinking different is worse, when in fact different is just different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For my example, like I prefer Street Fighter 2, so I generally became more attached to games like Street Fighter EX, since they were made by the dude who made Street Fighter 2 and is now fighting EX players.
I know what you're talking about footsie type games. It's definitely a different type of
like for example, if you play it like there's a modern game now too to like compare. Like let's say for example, let's compare Street Fighter 5 to Fighting EX Player. There's a major difference between these two games. While one promotes aggression, the other is like in like this middle zone where it's like you have aggression and it's like achieves the perfect balance, and that's what I want in like these types of games, because they're very there's not too many crazy options in Street Fighter, as I feel. They're very simplistic. But with Street Fighter 5, what they're trying to do is they're trying to make Street Fighter seem like this very crazy over-the-top game, like Guilty Gear or Blaze Blue, and so on and so forth. Well,
I always respect Street Fighter 5 for bringing Street Fighter to the masses in terms of making the core of like, am I going to fireball, am I going to throw, or am I going to uppercut? And bringing that, I mean, without completely making it base and not worth playing. It's like three steps above that, to where okay, you're still making decisions and you're still playing, but it's not the complicated one frame heavy Street Fighter you're used to. Am I going to middle, am I going to low, am I going to overhead? That's kind of the basics. Are you going to am I going to stun you, or are you going to spend that meter, and am I going to guess right, or are you going to guess right? Like they really simplified the interactions, and a part of me, it's almost like I'm really downplaying this analogy, but like tic-tac-toe is kind of like a boring whatever game, but anyone could play it at any time, you know? Like, and a part of me respects that this Street Fighter, it's not as dummy as tic-tac-toe. I'm greatly exaggerating, but a part of me respects, hey, if you're not good at one frames and you just want to guess if I'm going to fireball or jump, you could still play Street Fighter with me. Like, so a part of me respects that.
I think like the problem is like what I expect. I want to see the balance in Street Fighter, right?
I agree. I'm an intelligent human being who's well versed in fighting games, and I definitely would like to see stricter, less derpy comeback mechanics, because that's the standard now. Derpy comeback mechanic, you know. I don't want to see that anymore. I want to see real comebacks. I want to see real leads matter. You know, like, you know, I want to see the person who can do the 3-framer. Yeah, put it in the game, because if he can get it, he deserves it. Like this kind of stuff.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, it's like all these like crazy hard, difficult combos are being standardized. They're not being as hard anymore. Like they've been making them easier. Like the 1 frame is becoming 2 or 3 or 4 or like 5. You know,
and you have a standard go to B&B that's going to maximize damage. Why think outside the box? Like they're making it kind of like I said. Like there's been I always use the term dummy / accessibility, but I think Street Fighter is one of the games that did it okay, in my opinion. Like
but in terms of like the whole thought, like I would think the delay, if they lowered it, like my initial impression is if they lowered the delay in Street Fighter 5, maybe it might get to that balance. But the problem with Street Fighter 5 doesn't lie in its delay. It just lies in its overall plan in general. They've been just throwing ideas on a board and just seeing how it works. Like for example, the whole like V system, like it only benefits like literally like the best characters in the game are the characters who get the most like advantage from like the V system.
Yeah, that's what makes that makes the tiers. Yeah,
and the worse or off characters are usually the characters that get not a lot from the V system.
Yeah, you either got good normal, like they say, top tier is good normals and good V trigger. Mid tier is either good normals, bad V trigger, or vice versa, and then low tier is bad both. You know, like.
But that's the problem. It's like it's not even the V system. The normals themselves are also the problem. Some normals are just. Yeah. Why?
like I said, I don't like to talk terms in drastic like problem. It's just it's a different game. Like
it's an issue. Like it might be.
It's still the most popular fighting game and is being played by a lot of people.
A lot of people, yeah. It's definitely the most popular. I won't trash it on it for that. But in terms of like, I'm kind of sad that it like.
It's not your Street Fighter. I get it. I've been in the game 20 years, and
I'm kind of sad that people aren't like playing like another. I'm kind of sad that this is the game that got like people
But the accessibility is a big part of that.
It's a big part. But the thing is, like Tekken 7, like kind of like jumping a ball. Tekken 7 did the same thing, but it still retained what made Tekken.
Yeah, I like I explained earlier, I do feel that Street Fighter retained the guessing game, the rock paper scissors. Like that to me is the core of SF. And this.
I just want to see them like find the Street Fighter balance, and that's the reason why I play Fighting EX Layer way more than Street Fighter 5 now.
I don't blame you, man.
I barely touched Street Fighter 5, but during the time I played it, I dropped it during the first couple months. But
what's one of my favorite games to watch, but I fall in the same boat where it didn't keep my gameplay where I want to keep playing, getting better. Like I felt like, damn, I got 95% of what I need to learn in this character already. Like there's not room to like squeeze out that creative. It's get your B&B, know what beats what, and go in against know how to fight top tier. Like I get it. Like it only digs so deep to people who are more versed in games that are little more.
And I think the major problem is there's more variety nowadays. Anyway. You have much more options than just like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat now.
Damn, that's true. That's super true. Yeah.
So okay, about Skullgirls, Marvel, Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue,
Guilty Gear, Dragon Ball, like Marvel, all these new, and it's just going up and up. They're just making more and more. It's like it's just growing. Man. I think that's like the major problem. I think Street Fighter is like being tackled with while they're like because they're dumbing down Street Fighter.
Yeah,
right?
Straight up. This is not your granddad's Street Fighter. This is your grandchild's Street Fighter.
It's like no, it's not. It's not like I'm not getting like anything bad about it. But it's like Street Fighter to me was supposed to be like it's not hard, it's not easy, but it's like
it's in the middle.
It's like in the middle.
It's designed to make people feel like they're godlike. That's why they put in the V trigger comeback. So even if you're getting bodied, there's a moment where you kind of dominate just for a sec.
But the problem is, I feel, is other games like do that though. It's like it doesn't make it any other different from like Blaze Blue or Guilty Gear or whatnot.
Yeah,
it's like I agree. That's why I have like my big problem. Like the reason why I like Fighting EX Layer so much is like it shows itself. It's like, yep, this is it. This what you see is what you get. It's like there's nothing fancy behind it. There's no like V system like you have to worry about. It's just like straight off to the top. What you see is what you get.
It's the nitty gritty. Can you hit me while I'm trying to hit you?
Yeah. I mean, sure. Like it has its unique like deck system, which is basically kind of like a unique system, blah blah blah.
I mean, I want to ask you: is it similar to the old EXs where you can like go super into super and like stuff like that?
Yeah, those are still there. Yeah, those are still there. But it's like the major gist of that is just like it's just Street Fighter, or in this case, it's just Fighting EX Layer. Like, sure, while those like the extra add-on is there, like the core of the game is unaffected by that, I feel. Yeah.
I really like the characters in that, or the EX character, like Garuda and all them. I really dug that Capcom was kind of going out the box with that cast, but they nailed it. But it's Akira, you know.
Yeah,
Akira.
A lot of people say Akira. It's all good.
Yeah, you know, you know what's funny is I saw that blue logo in my head flashing like the, and I said Akira still.
Yeah, it's all good. A lot of people used to make that mistake as well, including me back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of like Street Fighter 5, honestly, changing the delay is not going to change the game much. The game is basically going to stay the same. It's just going to make stuff. It's just going to make stuff for like other players more consistent, which is good. Which is good.
I think this since they're like, I don't want to say they're done with this, but you know we're approaching like when they did this arcade edition or whatever, and now they're announcing it like, you know, I don't know how many more polishes this game can get as far as what they're trying to accomplish.
Honestly, I think they might be almost done with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like it too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's in its last chapter, and I think this move is just the last one to like the hardcore fans who care about this crap, this frame stuff. We're gonna do you a solid because they're just trying to make sure the casuals, if they haven't bought it by now, they haven't bought it. So we're just gonna make the hardcore like I think that's what's happening. They're just
trying to leave this game at like a good note.
It's a PR move. I think it's a PR move at the end.
They know they started off shitty, but they want to make sure this game is like an Ultra Street Fighter 4, basically.
I mean, it's definitely shaped up a lot since its launch.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's definitely
like a lot of stuff.
It's definitely a much different like a game in comparison to what it is now. But I'm not gonna lie, it's like the core, even though like you know, it's people gave Street Fighter 4 for the like slack for the same thing too. Now I think about it, like for the look, it was like exact same thing. People didn't like the look of 4. People didn't like how 4 plays. Same thing with 5.
And I'm being real with you guys right now. Same thing with 6 and same thing with 7. It's the changing of the guard, and that's the way it goes.
This is just a Street Fighter cycle. I don't like how this looks. I don't like how this plays.
Same with the Marvel, same with the Mortal Kombat, same with the Soul Calibers, like the whole thing. Like
actually, it actually changed recently with 6. People did say that for 3, 4, and 5. But a lot of people are actually like enjoying 6. People who even like, you know, disliked 5, 4, and 3.
How long has it been since the last one?
5 came out in 2012, I think.
Yeah, 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a while since.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe there's just they're just so thirsty for one. They're just like, give me it, and it's good. So it's like we're not complaining.
It's like why complain? They actually made another one.
Yeah, we got it. Let's just play the hell out of it.
It's the same thing with like Fighting EX Player. No one expected another Street Fighter EX. Like we had like no new game for like a decade, and then Arika comes out and going like, well, since we can't do Street Fighter EX, why not let's just make a new fighting game just using our characters since we can't make that. And like,
given the mechanics that people expect from this, like if the G's want to still G it
up, just like so they know what to expect. It's like this is like Street Fighter EX, but with the spin on it to make it like you know stand out.
Yeah, update the mechanics or whatever. And it's even cool that it retains the fighting style and the characters you know from it. That's pretty cool.
And the plus part is they've also added in a feature where like if you don't know how to do special move inputs, you can easily do it and stuff like that.
You know what's funny? I'll be honest. The reason I didn't jump on Fighting X Layer is because I accidentally went into trading mode for the first 3 hours with some weird control that wasn't the Capcom control. I don't even know what that option is.
Progressive. They automatically start you with this basic control
and
scheme.
I thought this was how the game played, so I learned it. I'm like, I don't know if I'm really feeling this. And then someone told me later, like, oh, dude, you just switch a setting and you play like Street Fighter EX. I'm like, oh, what? So I haven't touched it since that debacle. So that's kind of like
the game changed. Also, I guess we should end off the Street Fighter 5 thing for now. So, would any of us still play it even if they lowered the delay? My answer is a big fat no. There's too many other fighting games I would want to play other than that.
I'm sure some Marvel play, man. So it's like,
I mean, whenever it's time for me to buy a game or play a game, I don't go to Street Fighter tournaments. But if they have it because it's I'm at an FGC event and someone slips me a stick, I'll play a couple of rounds, but not on a competitive level by any means. And it'll be the exact same whether they change the frames or not for me.
Yeah. And
I still got a baby Mika and a Rashid,
Yep. Yep, same here right there. I probably would not play it right there unless like I don't know, like says, and if they don't fucking destroy Zangief in season 4, like even though he's
if there's a season 4,
they will. It's just like Alex.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, so in terms of like that, I think the only other FGC news is actually about fighting EX Slayer. So recently Arika showcased, well, there's a shit ton of news that have we even covered that in. I'll just explain basically the gist of what happened with that game. Basically, they went all out. At EVO, they announced like every Street Fighter EX character is going to be returning. And Terry Bogard from
in them,
yeah, and Terry Bogard from King of Fighters and Fatal Fury is going to be a playable character in the game.
That's tight.
That's sick.
And also they also revealed that the 2 characters that we're going to be adding, Volcano Rosso and Pulamperna, are going to be free DLC for everyone.
That's bad.
That's really good.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, and also to top it all off, people were requesting them to do a Steam release since they don't have PS4s. Guess what? They recently announced they're doing a Steam release later this year or early next year because of how successful the game was. Yeah, and really what's more, they're also doing an arcade release just like Street Fighter V.
Wow.
Yeah.
This one's on time though.
Yeah, this one's on time. So they have an arcade release, PC release, and a console release. So they have the game on 3 platforms right now, which is pretty amazing for how big their company is.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. It's doing successful because it's
same here, man. That's great.
And
news.
now they're also focusing on trying to update the core of the game. In the beginning, anti-airs used to be pretty shitty, but they heard the response from players, so they made anti-airs much better. So you can actually anti-airs with normals. Because you jumping used to be so strong, and now what they're doing is they have announced that now they're going to be changing up the Gogi patch, which is basically the mechanic where if you do a certain it's basically like Street Fighter Cross Tekken Gems, except it changes mechanics instead of well, actually some of them do the Street Fighter Cross Tekken stuff, like buffing your speed, buffing your attack, buffing your meter gain, and so on and so forth. But there's some specific ones that change up the game. Like in one of them, you can get like a KOF hop, like like how there's like different jump arcs in like KOF, right?
Oh yeah, like a low jump.
Yeah, that stuff. Like if you do a dash, you'll get like this mini hop where you can do like this crazy stuff from. There's another one where you have like you just keep on building meters, so you can keep on doing super cancels and all that crazy jazz. You have one where your damage keeps on increasing depending on how much hits you do to the opponent. And you have one where you have a lot of super armor. You have one where it helps your grab game with grapple characters, which there's only one, which is Darun. And so on and so forth. You even have like one that allows you to teleport straight to the opponent and so on and so forth. So they're also, and I think before I've even said this before, they're also planning on adding these packs where it'll make it play like the older EX games where you have the big huge super attacks. You'll have Excel, which was basically like Alpha 2 custom combos.
I love that mode.
And so on and so forth. And so what they showcase now is the game's going to be coming out in a cage. We're going to be getting on Steam soon. We're going to be getting Terry Bogard along with the other 2 characters, Sharon and Aria, soon. And the game's just going to be continuing to grow, and a lot of people it might just end up challenging Street Fighter V. Who knows? But it's pretty small right now. But it actually has a community, and they're actually like doing changes very frequently.
Yeah,
and the game's only been out for like
a few months. Yeah,
a few months. Yeah.
Like what you said earlier, in that, like, I mean, with Street Fighter V in the state it's in terms of its gameplay. It is good to know that there's a variety of games out there that satisfy different itches, and I know exactly what itch you're talking about as far as like the balance in neutral fighting. And I'm curious. I'll give that one another dip because I definitely went into it wrong. But
it's all good. But oh man, it's gonna be crazy to see how EVO 2019 is gonna happen because I heard the trailer's coming up soon, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the scary part to think about is what happens if Street Fighter V isn't on that roster?
Yeah, well, one thing, it's gonna be on the roster. Fucking Capcom.
Well, no. Let's just say, for example, like MVCI wasn't on the roster. What would happen if they like replace Street Fighter 5 with like Smash Ultimate for God we know?
That'd be like an uproar, man. Like
uproar, yeah, exactly. Like, can you imagine like Evo without a Capcom game?
Exactly,
at the very end. I wouldn't even know what to. If it ended with some other game besides Street Fighter, I think I would stay in my seat waiting for Street Fighter to start. I'd be like, what's going on here?
It's like,
why is everybody leaving?
Capcom would be like that right there.
Because like, remember the Marvel community? Everyone was thinking, yeah, Marvel Infinite is definitely an Evo, and then we get the the stream, and it's not there. It's like, and the Marvel community was like, I cannot believe this. Why are we not on the main stage? It's Marvel versus Capcom.
Bullshit.
Come on, it's Marvel. And stuff like that. So just because of like the insane amount of games coming out, we have Soul Calibur 6, Smash Ultimate releasing this year. So they're both contenders to kick out games. We obviously know that some games are going to lose their spot. Maybe it's going to be Injustice 2.
Yeah.
I don't think Capcom would surrender that so easily in terms of making business happen.
I know. There might be some incentive, like they might give them to keep.
There already is. In terms of Capcom getting the spot. Yeah, in terms of Capcom getting the spot that it does. But this is a thing where I think what you're alluding to, what might be true, is that big bank take little bank. So if we see a game do better than Street Fighter, I wouldn't be surprised if it wind up at the top spot. But
Smash Ultimate definitely could probably do it.
Smash Ultimate or Dragon Ball Fighters, maybe, depending.
Or Soul Calibur 6, even maybe. Who knows? Because and I think the only reason why I want to see that happen is I want to see Capcom realize that they actually have competition.
Oh, they know.
Yeah.
With how Marvel got blasted out from DBZ, I'm certain they know that nothing's free anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Nothing's a given.
I just want to see another message give it to them. If it's not, if we don't see a Capcom game at EVO, like they realize, oh man, like how far we fell. It's like this tournament series used to be like Capcom, and then it started like drizzling out, and here we are.
Only like one Capcom game, Street Fighter 5.
Yeah, only one Capcom game. What happens if that vanishes?
Yeah, dude, that's
exactly.
crazy.
That's a crazy part to think about, because if that happens, that gives them more of an incentive to actually, put more effort into what they're making. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, exactly.
So it would give them more incentive to not make a rushed product than what we got with Street Fighter 5.
Kind of force them to step their game up, because you kind of want to see a little bit more thought
now
quality
they have
into
to
releases.
compete. Yeah, now we have to like they have to compete with like Soul Calibur 6 with this insane looking visuals and combat system, and Dragon Ball FighterZ literally looking like the Dragon Ball anime, and being a crazy 3v3 fighter just like Marvel, and all this shit. Even Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle is literally anime Marvel Infinite.
Yeah, and it's in there, but Infinite isn't. To me, I mean, this is going to be just a real quick soapbox, but my Evo is wherever this Marvel Cup happens at. They're doing that's, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a Marvel player at heart. That's what sucked me to the FGC. Capcom fighter at heart, really.
Same for me, man.
Yeah, Marvel.
Yeah, wherever this Marvel class, the Fate of Two Worlds series that just recently started, that's basically like the community coming together and making a Marvel Cup. Wherever that is going down, that's straight up, because Evo low key has fallen off. It's no longer a community focused event. It is a business focused event.
The crazy part is
what it is, but it's not what it was.
A lot of people are finding that there are other tournaments that are way better than Evo.
Just way more focused on the community at hand that you're trying to entertain. There's just way more attentive to these people,
Exactly.
Better bang for your buck, real talk. Just OG, better service for your dollar.
Yeah, like for example, CEO is a great example. Like with CEO and CEO Taku, both those tournaments are doing insanely well, and I'm pretty sure, I
think just like Capcom realized, oh shit, we got competition. I think this year Evo realized, like, oh snap, it's not a given.
Yeah.
People are like dogging us now, or people are catching on. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Low key. I mean, this is low key gouge fest now too. Like
yeah,
low key gouge fest. Like as far as what you pay.
So honestly, in terms of FGC stuff, this is looking like a year of blow-ups. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see like a lot of crazy stuff, and I'm pretty sure, some of them we're gonna expect, and some of them we're not gonna expect. But all in all, 2019 is looking like a very crazy year for the FGC, and I guess that's where I'll wrap my stuff up. That's all I have to say. That's all my 2 cents.
Yeah, I mean,
anything else you guys want to add? You can go ahead, but I can't think of what else to say.
Nothing else for me at the moment.
Yeah.
I think I'm good for that.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. That's a good place to leave it. Real talk.
Yeah. Yep. It's been a pretty good discussion. We've been going. This might be the longest one yet. We were like talking so long.
Like and a half.
Yeah, we were talking so long with the Marvel stuff too.
Yeah.
We were just like so
good
on Marvel 4.
That was great, man.
Yep. Okay. Thank you for watching right there, and I will see you next time. And this is Team Area Combos, and I am Flying Highs. That's Zerms 4.
I'm Shaco Man.
I'm Barzhad.
I'm War Destroyer.
And we will see you next time, and have a nice night.
All right, see you guys.
All right, later, guys.